Starship, Cygnus, Rocket Lab, being a good neighbor at your local spaceport, and a lot more. Just not a Ship 38 static fire on this week's Flame Trench.
And here we go.
Odd.
We have liftoff. Propulsion continues to be nominal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, roger, planet.
Water towers fly! Yes!
Tango down to nominal.
Flight downside FD off. Bring in FD off. It's orange!
Orange 45! Oh my god!
Décollage.
Put that in the big bag, Eagle.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
This methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You bet. We don't need any more of these.
Hello and welcome to this week's Flame Trench. That's right, it's our informal news show where things get a little bit spicy. We are NSF, that's NASASpaceflight.com. We are some dedicated rocket fanatics who try to bring you the very best rocket news when and wherever we can. I'm Jack Beyer, I'll be your host for this trench. I hope you're excited. I can see chat. Chat looks excited. If you have any questions, you can @ NSF in chat, and we will go through them along with our competent cohort of commentators, starting off with EJ.
Good.
Hey.
You did it. Good. That was
Hey.
good, man. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I've had several Red Bulls. How you doing, bud?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. I'm excited, just like Chad is. You can tell from my face.
Nice. We got a lot to talk about this week. You do look quite excited. Also joining us is Sawyer. We've got the standard lineup. How you doing, buddy?
5, 4, 3, 2.
No.
Oh, hi, Jack. How's it going? Good to see everybody.
You're supposed to talk at 0, not 1, Sawyer. Come on, you know this.
Because you know it in TV. It goes 5, 4, 3, 2. They never actually count it out loud in case it's a hot mic.
Right,
I'm doing good otherwise.
No, you're doing
Ready
great.
for the Flame Trench.
Yeah. You know,
Exactly.
as if it was unintentional
As
and
if.
not just like a nice piece of ambiance to add to the show.
Right, that's all assuming that would ever happen, but it wouldn't here at NSF.
Also producing the stream, you just heard his voice again, Kevin Michael Reed. How are you doing, dude? Thank you for producing the show. I think that's all the housekeeping we did. I said the question thing. I said who we are. It's the trench. I'm me. You guys are you. I think we get into it at this point, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
Awesome. All right. Well, EJ, I do believe you have the first topic up of the week, so you get to tell us what's down with the Cygnus.
Wow.
Is it me? Is it me or is it sorry? Am I doing this? I'm doing this one? Really?
You said you were doing it at the beginning.
I thought you said you were doing it. The document, dude. The document don't lie. It says EJ.
Okay. All right. I will tell you. I will tell you guys about bigness. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm
Maybe
calling
I should
it.
take it away from you.
Because it's is it because
All right.
it's Cygnus XL? So you're calling it?
We're calling it bigness. It's an easy win.
I'm sorry, I didn't get the memo.
All right. So last weekend, SpaceX launched the NG-23 mission. It's a Cygnus capsule that's resupplying the International Space Station. It did launch. There was a beautiful RTLS from the Falcon 9 booster. Cygnus then went up into space and was attempting to do some phasing burns, right? But there were some problems with the engine shutting down early. Not entirely sure what happened there. Northrop Grumman apparently did figure it out because we got some footage right here. We got some footage right here of it being berthed to the ISS yesterday morning. It got up there, and Johnny Kim wrangled that thing with the Space Station Remote Manipulator System, or Canadarm2. Now, the reason why I call it bigness is because if you look at it, you can tell that there's 4 distinct rings in the pressurized volume of Cygnus. When Cygnus started flying, a good while ago, like 2012, I think, it was only 2 rings. Now it's 4 rings. it's a bigger pressurized volume, and you have more space. You can do more things, like move 11,000 pounds of food and supplies up to the ISS.
I do like having more room for activities.
Yeah,
And
you need so much room
supplies.
for activities and bigness, right? It's pretty
Oh
awesome.
my god.
So, what?
Continue,
what?
please. No, I'm realizing that anytime I add to the conversation, you're going to find a way to work in the word bigness. I'm
Bigness.
coming to terms with that fact.
Yeah. So, bigness.
Bigness.
You derailed me, dude. I'm not even kidding.
I don't think
Bigness.
that's too hard to do on the flame trench.
Yeah, I know, that's right. So, despite some problems, Cygnus didn't rendezvous at the time it was supposed to rendezvous. They delayed it by a day because they were wondering what's going on with the engine. The engine was shutting down before it was doing the phasing burns, and obviously, if you don't accelerate to the right speed, you're not going to get to the ISS. So, what they ended up doing is just out of an abundance of caution, they did a racetrack maneuver where it loops around the space station before capture. Just, I think that's because of the adjusted trajectory, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, this is the first Cygnus up there since I do believe it was NG-21. NG-22 was also a Cygnus, but they dropped it. I'm serious. Someone dropped the caps like that. It was like, okay, here's my Cygnus. I'm taking, and broke it. So yeah, this is the first Cygnus up to the station in a little while, but it is a big one. That is a big spacecraft. It is up there. It is berthed to the space station, and they're unloading it right now as we speak.
It's a cool spacecraft. I'm a fan of Cygnus, and I hope what I'm about to say does not make me seem like I'm not a fan of Cygnus. But what's up with the messaging around this? I feel like we did not really get, we didn't get all we were told, as far as I remember anyway, is that the engine had a premature shutdown, and then they fixed it, and it's fine. But I feel like, is this a change? Like in past times, would we have gotten more sort of color or more information? It's kind of important to know what's going on with the spacecraft headed to the ISS, given that there's, I don't know, people on it. And I don't know, it's our tax dollars paying for this sort of thing. You kind of want to know, like, hey, what's going on with Cygnus? Don't just tell us like, oh, we had a thing, it's fine, don't worry about it. Like maybe some detail. Am I way out of bounds here?
I mean, they said that the engine shut down early. They could have said nothing. They could have said nothing. They said the engine shut down early, but I'm kind of with you on this one. The engine shutting down early could be a plethora of problems. It really
Potentially.
I mean, we've had, Jack's funny.
I just wanted to add another P word to the alliteration.
Potentially, a plethora of problems. Potentiometer. No.
Proximate to
the pressurized volume of the Ignis.
No, we're still derailing. No,
Ignis.
it's a valid point, though. I mean,
where I was going with that is that, well, we've had thruster problems on spacecraft that have gone to the ISS before, and we technically didn't really hear anything about it until much later. Starliner.
Not that that's okay, though, right?
No, it's not okay. I mean, I think we should probably know a little bit more, but they, even with Starliner, when the thruster, the poppet seal on the thruster started to go, and the control systems on Starliner shut out the thruster, we really didn't figure out. We weren't really briefed on it in real time. We had to go through the post-flight press conferences and stuff to figure out what's going on. I'm sure there's going to be one, and I'm sure they'll explain it. I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, I do believe they should be more forthcoming with information. But, if a spacecraft is malfunctioning on its way to the ISS, telling the press is probably not my top priority as a flight operations person at NASA. Like, not that I am. Don't get confused. Like, just hypothetically, if I was, I'd be like, yeah, we can tell the press later. Let's make sure it doesn't crash into the ISS, right? Like,
but
counterpoint. Hey, Apollo 13 is on its way around the moon. Let's not tell the press it's messing up, so it'll come back and we'll tell them after. Like,
also, that's why there's two different crews. There is the flight crew that's dealing with the immediate oh no, the engine shut down early, and then there is the public affairs office, whose job it is to then get the news out if something happens. All they have to do is just say, hey, we're working the problem here, here's what we know, and then it's the public affairs team's job to go out and say, all right, here's what they're reporting, or choose what to put out, or in this case, what not to put out. And it's worth noting, we are trying our due diligence here too. We reached out to NASA and Northrop Grumman, and neither of them responded to our request for comment. So, just worth pointing that out there as well.
We tried. We did. That's what we do. Like, we are a news organization. I know this is like the informal, let's hang out and derail and joke around show, but legitimately, we did reach out and try and get more info, which was not forthcoming.
Yeah, exactly.
Fellas, people are talking, that's a good point. And I see people in chat saying like, oh, they can manage public perception. You know what the best public perception is? Getting the thing to the space station. I think that's the best one out of all of them. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about managing public perception. Look at what SpaceX does. They blow up rockets left and right, and people give them a pass for it because they're clear in their communication, and they say, hey, this one might blow up. Like, yes, you can hide in the shadows. That's one way to make the story go away. The other way to make the story go away is to just explain to people what the story is. I don't know. I'll get off my soapbox.
I'm going to bring that up later when we talk about Rocket Lab. But yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those things where they should at least tell us, especially given what's gone on with the NG-22, where, again, they dropped it. They were also very vague on what happened other than it's being taken out of the rotation. It took, like you mentioned, all those press conferences and everything to find out that it is going to be sorted back into the lineup. They are going to repair it. It will eventually fly. And I know, EJ, you said they may do like a press conference after this and explain it. They don't do press conferences like that anymore. They used to would have, like a pre and post-launch in-person press conference for these at the press site. They didn't have that. They had a teleconference that some people could call into. They don't even allow for international media to be at the launch of these vehicles anymore. They did not offer media viewing for international folks.
Now, see, that Sawyer, that I have a problem with. That I think is not okay. I mean, there should be some PAO doing some, I'm not going to say damage control, but some explanation of the situation. I'll concede that one. But, it's up to the PAOs to do that. It's not.
Yeah.
NASA and Northrop Grumman should be kind of focusing on working the problem, right? But that one, not inviting international, and not having a post-flight press conference, what? Come on now. I'll agree with you on that one.
Props to the Public Affairs Office for allowing viewing for this for media. We all very much appreciate that. Props as well to Cape Canaveral Space Force Station for allowing remote cameras for that. Also very much appreciated. I want to make sure that not being ungrateful. We like being out there for these launches. We love covering it, but it makes it hard to share all of the extra excitement and love for it when they're kind of shutting out on what you are able to report.
Yeah, and to be fair, a lot of that is not with the PAO office itself. It's
right.
There's many factors. There's a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous. But yeah, that is a little unfortunate. Go ahead.
Fellas, I do have a question, right? Okay, so forgive me. Now I'm thinking okay, so Sawyer, you said they didn't do a post flight. It's not open up. The media isn't open up for anybody, right? So what differentiates this from back in the shuttle days, for instance, right? Well, what's the difference here? Well, the difference is private contractors, and I think it's a very interesting point to discuss. Should private contractors, like Northrop Grumman, like SpaceX, like Boeing, should they be forthcoming as with the information as NASA? Because they could be disclosing proprietary stuff. Or is it because, this is a public contract, there's a NASA, should they be as transparent as NASA? Which one is it? Where do the proverbial chips fall with, commercially operated NASA missions, right? I think it's a very interesting question. Where do you guys think? Should they be just like NASA? Should they be full transparent, or should it be up to the contractor to be able to communicate stuff? Because Jack, like you said, SpaceX does a good job with this.
Yeah, it's a quandary. I'm not saying it's an easy thing to an easy tightrope to walk. I get it. If you're a publicly traded company, you have a stock price, you can't necessarily just be like, hey, our thing's messing up. like that has ramifications. I understand that. At the same time, if you're getting tax dollars from the government to do a service or to deliver cargo or what have you, in an industry in a role that is historically very transparent and open, because we've seen what happens or what can happen, in the darkness of shadows. I think a precedent has been set. If you're getting those tax dollars, you should probably, there should probably be some sort of, I don't know, better communication. I don't know. I feel like I've made my point repeatedly. I hope I'm not beating the dead horse. But Sawyer, by all means, go for it.
Real quick, some people in Twitch chat are saying it should be the same standards as commercial aviation, and that, you know what? That's a good point.
Airliner-like operations.
There you go.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I think it changes the second you throw the NASA name on it, the NASA logo on it, anything like that. Axiom, that's fine. That's SpaceX. That's all private. The second you throw a NASA astronaut onto a mission and you get like a crew mission, then you expect the openness and the transparency. Same with this. It's one thing if you're saying, oh, we're just going to launch a scientific Cygnus that's not docking to the station, that's just going to orbit and do stuff, which is something that they've offered in the past, or at least discussed as a possibility, then you don't have to be as open. But if you're saying this is a NASA contracted resupply services mission to the ISS, which it is, that changes the game in my opinion. Then it becomes public versus private. And of course, I get it. You want to limit what you put out there in terms of, trade industry secrets, ITAR, whatever acronyms you want to throw out with that. But in terms of, hey, we're supposed to dock Wednesday, we're not docking Wednesday because of an engine issue, that's when the whole NASA name comes out.
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting line. When you think about it, this is a new domain. There's we could look at aviation or NASA missions for historical precedent there, but yeah, this is kind of quote unquote uncharted territory, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think. Go ahead. Go to questions. I was just going to say, I think priority one should be, completing the mission. That's the best optics. Anyway, what are people's questions?
I have a question.
Actually, go for it.
Yeah, Ben.
What about this? This is a second flight to have thruster issues in a row. Is there an issue with thrusters?
I think thrusters like valves are hard. Unfortunately,
this is the 22nd flight. I can't. It's not the 23rd because the 22nd was canceled, right? This is the 22nd flight. Do they still have issues after the 22nd flight?
Honestly, to me, this is me purely speculating here. When you get to flight 22 or 21 or whatever, that's the point where you're like, okay, we've been flying with these super expensive components that we know are good. And then over those 20 flights, you're like, well, what if we swap that one seal with this one that's probably pretty good and fine, and we'll qual it with all these tests, but it's way cheaper. It could be something as simple as that, where they're trying out new materials or tweaking things. Complete guess, because we don't have more information. But it's a fair question to ask, Kevin. I don't know. Does Cygnus have thruster problems?
So, Jay brought it up in the back channel. Worth noting that the difference between the thrusters there's a difference between the thrusters and the main engine. So these are ancillary thrusters versus the main propulsion for Cygnus this time around. So, Jack, I think that just raises more questions at this point. Why are these problems happening? No,
Bob
it's all good.
Michelle Murray
it's still very relevant, dude. Why are these problems happening all of a sudden? The maneuvering thrusters shouldn't have changed. Have they changed? Right?
Yeah, even if the answer is no, it's still good to ask a question. That's.
Are we talking about a QA problem? Did somebody drop a COPV or something?
But here's the thing:
can they static fire in the rain?
Can they static fire?
Yeah, probably. But no, NG-23 with this one, it sounded like it was a result of basically what's known as a red line monitor. Of if it hits this red line, then instantly shut down. It seemed like they were overly conservative on that number. So
Bob and Michelle Murray in chat saying, they did say it was because of conservative parameters for the upgraded spacecraft.
Right. NG-21, we later found out, was a hardware issue. This is a software issue. Also worth noting that it's not like, the dropped COPV Ship 36 kind of deal.
Right. And Hantronics also in chat saying software was rebooted, which alleviated the problem and all went well after that. So you're telling me they had to turn it off and on again?
Happens more than you might think, dude.
Oh, trust me.
And
Like
then-
even back when I was working live sports, 9 times out of 10, the solution to the problem with signal flow between the camera and control center is turn everything off and turn it back on again.
Mhm.
Hey, it
And
works
then-
now.
Well,
Guys, I'm gonna play devil's advocate again. Okay, like if SpaceX had conservative software parameters on the rocket,
Northrop Grumman.
no, I'm saying didn't SpaceX launch this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but the Cygnus
I
itself has
understand. I understand. We're talking two different stages. I understand. But if SpaceX had conservative software parameters on the rocket, then the rocket wouldn't have gone up. Right? So they were able to save it because they had conservative parameters on the engine of Cygnus. But I'm just saying, right? It would be a different conversation if it was conservative software parameters on Falcon 9.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh, we accidentally throttled down way too much during max Q.
Right, and then it doesn't get to orbit.
Yeah, like I get that.
Or what
So-
was it, NG-17, where it kind of second stage did a little flip around and damaged one of the solar panels. Was that 16 or 17? But yeah.
Well, Cygnus is a cool spacecraft. I love when they do fires on it. And my inner pyromaniac
I'm-
loves that they're able to do testing with fire on Cygnus after they're done, filling it with trash and they eject it from the space station. It's one of the
And
only
the
ways we can
CubeSats.
dispose of trash from the space station. Yeah, and the CubeSats. I like Cygnus. I hope people don't think I'm down on the Cygnus.
Bigness.
I really wasn't even trying to do it that time. I swear.
So,
Yeah. Anyway,
fellas, another thing to note that okay, all right. Jokes aside, this is a bigger Cygnus. This is the first time that they're flying with a 4-ring configuration. That makes sense that they'd have conservative parameters on their thrusters because they're pushing more mass around. Pushing more mass around is going to increase the duty cycle on the thruster. Like, it's not rocket science, man. If you have an engine in a truck, right, and you know that truck can move 1,000 pounds, or what is 1,000 pounds? Like 480 kilos in the bed, right? And then you double that, and now it's 800 or 860 kilos, right? Like, you double it, you don't know what that's going to do to the motor. The motor's going to be working a lot harder, that's for sure. So having conservative parameters and not pushing it actually is pretty safe flying, in my opinion. That's, I think that's actually pretty smart on Northrop Grumman's part,
right. I mean, in that case, that was the safe thing to do. If it was a rocket launching, the safe thing to do would be give it enough power to get out of the atmosphere. Like I understand where Kevin's coming from, but yeah, no, it's safe flying because they upgraded the spacecraft, right? It's bigger now. You want to make sure that you're not going to put it under any stresses that are going to be bad for it. So you have conservative red lines. Would have been nice to have clear message about all this.
in this regard, yeah, I think that's fair.
I get we got the drips and drabs. Like that's nice. Anyway, I think I've made the point. Now, let me thank
Yeah.
some people.
I will say, though, for even though this is the first bigness, the room for error is smallness. So
Let me thank some people. Preston Snyder, thank you for becoming a Padrat member. Just gonna no sell Sawyer. No sell. No sale for you.
makes
Sawyer.
it even better.
The fruit that's even sweeter. Space Pope. The Space Pope. Blessing this trench, as is the custom. Thank you so much, Space Pope. Steve. They say, speaking of the sickness, I heard absinthe and tequila make for a great time. Right, Jack? Yes.
Wow, throwback, calling you out.
Yo.
I dare you to do it. You won't. Guyman7 thank you for the support. They say thank you for becoming a red team member. That's not what they said. That's what they did. That's what happens
You
when
don't know me.
That's what happens when I. Is the panel broken?
Yay,
What'd you-
fix it.
What'd you break?
I'm clicking it. I'm clicking the green check mark. Nothing's happening. I just want to. I want everybody to see that Guyman7 has become a red team member, but I can't click it.
Chat, scream at Jay to fix it.
What if I refresh?
I think we should just collectively take all the producers and make them into one entity, and we should just call
No.
it like J.
No.
Vincent,
J. Vincent.
DJ Vincent, Jan Michael Vincent Kevin Reed.
Yeah, please do.
There
my
you go.
God.
There you go.
Because we have
And
Kevin,
Adrian.
Jay, Carson, D, Ryan Caden, who have all produced streams before, so let's
Right.
combine the 5.
All right, I might have cycled through some more of the support while I was madly clicking things in the panel, but Adrian, thank you for the super chat. They say, play the plight of the PAO. Last to know and first to go.
Yeah.
Oof. All right, next, do we do the next Toparino? Topic Areno? Topo Chico?
See?
See?
Oh, breaking my ears. Breaking my ears?
Viper! Breaking news. Actually, like literally breaking news.
Wait a minute,
It's
what is this?
alive!
Yo, no way.
This is
Yes,
a really
way.
cool one. I feel like when we first rebranded to the Flame Trench, I feel like some of those early episodes we were yelling about Viper. So this is like a full circle moment. This is kind of a cool moment. Who's gonna gab? Who wants to gab?
Sawyer, do you want this one? I just did
Sure.
the bigness. You take it, man.
Bigness.
Absolutely. The block of concrete will probably still fly it on its own, but we now have a vehicle for Viper. At this point, NASA Science and Blue Origin announcing that their second Blue Moon Mark 1 lander, which is in production, is quote-unquote well-suited to support the Viper rover. You may recall this mission was scheduled to launch, and then NASA basically said, yeah, the thing's fully built. Yeah, it's pretty much ready to go, but we're just going to scrap it. Goodbye. We'll fly a block of concrete instead on the original mission where it was supposed to go. And then they're like, you know what? All right, maybe we'll see if someone else wants to buy it, if someone else wants to do something with it. And there was a whole bunch of proposals, and NASA really never did anything with it. Until Friday at 5 p.m., when they like to drop all the good news. NASA Science said, after exploring innovative and cost-effective approaches, Viper has selected Blue Origin to deliver it. And you can see there is the post from Blue Origin talking about the fact that Viper will fly. Viper will search for vital resources like water, ice to help support long-term human presence on the lunar surface. So, it lives!
It
Look at
lives.
Look at that! Next to the Blue Moon lander! That's so cool looking.
I don't hate it, man.
Me neither. And finally, it was going to be such a waste of money. At least it's going to make it to the surface. And at the same time, A, gives another purpose to Blue Moon's lander, and B, serves as even more science. We always want more science. And especially the whole point of Viper and all these was to send these vehicles to the lunar surface before people. That way, when we send people down to the site, we know what we're looking for. Scientists can say, hey, we know this site's perfect because the rovers have seen XYZ, so let's see if we can send the humans there to go pick up some of those rocks, to do X experiments and bring it back to Earth, that we can finally do the science on it. This is literally the exact purpose. You get to test the lander, and you get to test the landing site and use Viper for it, so that when you send people on the next one, it's ready to go. Win-win!
Wins all around.
I agree. It's a win, but it's a very roundabout way for a win, but it's a win nonetheless. I mean, you know what would have been a good idea? Just sending it on the lander that it was designed for. I mean, I'm not trying to disparage Blue. I'm happy they got a payload, and I'm happy they stepped up to the plate. Thank you. That's amazing. Good job. But also, what is Astrobotic now? They just chop liver, just moving their block of concrete to the lunar South Pole. Like, the easy way to do this wouldn't the easier way to do this wouldn't was to just have it launch on the thing that it was designed for, but funding pressure and schedule pressure or something, right? No, we can't do that. We can't do that. So now we got to spend 190 million more to get it there. Like, don't get me wrong, that's more money for spaceflight in a really, really roundabout and kind of counterintuitive way, right? But also, the Astrobotic's still going to build the lander. They're still going to build the Griffin lander. The Griffin lander's still going to go there. They were worried about, NASA was worried about overfunding Viper. That was their reason for getting rid of it. And now they're spending $190 million more to not get rid of it. The easy thing to do would have been just to put it on the thing that it was designed to launch on and launch it on that thing, instead of being like, nah, that's too expensive. Here, let's pay $190 million and launch it on this other thing. Like, don't get me wrong, we got 2 landers out of it, so you used the wrong formula, but you got the right answer. But also, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's like it feels like we got what we wanted, but not how we wanted to get it.
Yep.
It's like, not like this.
I love the way that Ryan worded that. Awards Viper delivery to Astrobotics. Oops, we spent too much. Canceled. Ask commercial industry for a free ride. Cancel the cancellation. Pay Blue Origin $190 million. Ryan Caton putting it perfectly there.
Dude, who's running NASA's OMB? Can they, like, please? OMB is office like mission budget. That's the budgeting office. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop it. This is not how you financial officer. This is not how you budget. This is the opposite of that.
Really good at spending money.
Get some help.
What are you
really
just
good at spending money?
Get some help, indeed. Yeah, right. Jeez.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm super happy that Blue is doing it. That's amazing. That's a payload from Blue Moon Mark 1. They're going to get a ton of good data from that, and that'll help Blue Moon Mark 2. And then boom, 2 landers out on the moon. Plus the CLIPS program, plus all, Astrobotic with their Griffin lander and everything. That's great. We have multiple ways to get to the moon. That's building out our lunar economy. That's excellent. That's what we want. But also, it's a very roundabout way of doing it. And it's I can't help but be just a little bit annoyed, But anyway, hey, I'm happy. Blue's going to do it. They'll get it done. Good on them.
Blue Skidoo, we can too.
No, don't do that again.
Am I not allowed to quote from my childhood?
Did you watch Ren and Stimpy or something? Can you quote from that?
Yeah,
Happy,
but Blue's
happy,
Clues
joy,
is better.
Joy, happy, happy, joy.
See, sorry, you said Blue's Clues is better, and Jack just referenced Ren and Stimpy. So I think
he's winning.
I think we all know.
You could also, if you go down
Better.
the line of the 3 with the ages here.
Also, no shade on Blue's Clues. Like, I did watch that when I was a kid too. But I also did watch Ren and Stimpy for some reason.
What do you mean
Everyone
for some
loves
reason?
The log.
Log. It's heavy.
log.
It's wood.
Everyone loves log.
It's like the payload that Astrobotic's going to launch. It's big. It's heavy.
Oh.
There.
No, actually, the concrete has been replaced, says Ryan in our back channel, by Astrolab's Flip rover. Note, Astrolab is flying a payload on Astrobotic. Two different.
Wait,
Astro
so
companies.
no log?
Yeah, RIP concrete block would have done some great science, says Ryan. I agree.
You idiot. Of course.
Stimpy, you idiot.
See, I mean, that was very much like the borderline of where my cutoff was. Mine was more towards Rocco's Modern Life and Real Monsters and that onward.
Good show.
So I kind of missed the Ren and Stimpy by a bit.
Recycling. God, I love Rocco so much.
Oh.
It's actually one of the few reboots they did that wasn't completely terrible.
Garbage day. He's a very dangerous day.
Very dangerous day.
Spunky!
Yep.
Anyway.
I love how they always called him like a rat or something. He's like, I'm a wallaby.
Yeah. Fun fact, for those who don't know, Heifer, by the way, voiced by the same guy that does SpongeBob. You're welcome.
Yep.
Nice. Mighty Don Don, thanks for gifting 10 Red Team memberships. If your name just turned green, thank Monty Don Don. That's very nice of them. And Oliver Redmond say Jan Quadrant Vincent 16. We've got too many quadrants and not enough Kevin
Yeah, and Michael,
J.
Vincent's. Michael Reed, Vincent J. Vincent D. Ryan.
and Mr. Fluffy 02, thanks for the support. They say West Coast, best coast, better than bad, it's good. Just like log.
No.
Yes,
Wrong, Fluffy,
yes.
wrong.
No, they're right.
Also, I loved air quotes comment in chat. So you're saying we got 2 rovers for the price of 2?
2 rovers. I have 1 when you could have 2 at twice the price.
All
right.
That was a good line.
That's brutal, but so real.
It's not wrong, yeah.
I'm getting serious Pentagon Wars vibes. It's like, put portholes on the armored personnel carrier because, I don't know, do it. It's like, really? Do we need that? But no, 2 landers is good. More science is more better. I'm on board. It's just we got here in a really fun.
No, it's the rover that's
way.
going to be on board, not you. No humans on that.
He's right.
Sawyer, tell us about Stoke and Rocket Lab.
Jack's like, no.
What a transition. That was the smoothest
That's not
transition
next.
I've ever seen.
Wait, it's not next?
It's not even next.
What is next? Oh, I just see what's next. It's Artemis 2 updates and beyond by presenter. No, it's not even that. Okay,
Yeah,
this
it's
document.
Weren't you listening in the pre-show? What's wrong with you?
Right.
No, I was getting a drink. I was panicking about the cold open. Hey, look, it's vast. They completed their final weld.
God.
Yep, they did on the Haven 1, man. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
Dude, look how big that freaking module is.
It's huge. It's gorgeous. And this video of it being welded, that final weld, is also absolutely gorgeous. It gets me excited about the future of space stations.
So, guys, this is a company called Vast. Vast is they're making, well, I don't know if you could tell by the picture. They're making space station modules, and they're trying to spearhead they've been working with NASA for what's called the Commercial Low Earth Orbit Destinations Program. They're not a part of CLEOD just yet, but they are working towards it. And well, to do that, if you want to be part of NASA's Commercial Low Earth Orbit Destinations Program, it's pretty good to have a commercial low Earth orbit destination. And Vast is showing all this promo stuff because they're like, look, hey, we're building a module right here in the United States. It's, we don't have to wait on calling Italy to build a pressurized volume for a module. This one is made here. That is a kind of little underhanded towards Thales Alenia, who basically built in Italy, who built pretty much all the space station modules on the pressure vessels for the space station modules on the United States operational segment. And also the bigness that we were talking about a second ago. Yeah, they built that too. So Vast is trying to do some homegrown space station module action here. Now, keep in mind, this will not be attached to the ISS. This is a free-floating space station that they are working on. This is not going to be attached to the ISS. This is a successor to it. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool that they're showing us all this stuff, and you know why they're doing it. They're like, hey, look, we got a space station module. It's right there. It's right there. We're working on it right now. That's
Speaking
also
of showing us stuff. All of this footage that you're seeing is from a tour that Dee and Das did with their CEO Max. How do you say his last name? Hout. Thank you. There's too many people with H last names in the space industry who I struggle to understand how to say their last name right. And I say it right, but it's the other person's last. Okay, thank you. But yes, this video is amazing. The tour was amazing. So much detail there. So if you don't know a lot about Vast and you want to know more, this is an excellent resource. Go check out that video. We'll spam it in chat, mods. If we can get that in chat, that'd be great. I just wanted to throw this out there because it's my favorite factory tour that we've done yet, and we've done a few. So this was a real treat and a really good way to sort of catch up or have a refresher on what Vast is doing, because it's not even 6 months old. We just did this. Feels like we just did this.
It was great. You saw a ex-NASA astronaut basically duct tape DOS to a wall. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
He was testing out the bed that they were working on. But I mean, you know, say, hey, I got your attention saying they duct taped them to a wall. Don't you don't want to see DOS duct taped to a wall? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
By an
we'll
astronaut
watch
who
the video.
actually did it with him. Yeah.
Yeah, astronaut and race car driver.
Yes.
True, false,
Jerry was a
false,
race car driver.
Yep, he's a race car driver too. Just saying.
Yeah, for those who don't remember, the plan with this also was going to be that this first module was going to launch on its own as basically a mini space station, and then it would have a Crew Dragon, dock to it. And then with the Crew Dragon there, they would be able to use basically the same CO2 scrubbers and kind of life support systems from the Dragon side to be able to allow them to live for short periods of time inside of this vast space station module. So they'd be able to go up, they'd have the living quarters, they'd use a lot of stuff from Crew Dragon to help it, and then come back and have crews go back and forth, with of course the end goal being a much larger space station, potentially being launched on Falcon Heavy, or even eventually full ones on Starship.
Yeah. Wait, what was that last part, Sawyer?
They discussed in the thing with DOS that at some point they would consider launching modules on Starship.
Ooh, yeah, I like that part, chat.
Yeah, again, it's not like it's
you guys.
It's not like they are contracted, ready for that right now and ready to go. But it's something for down the line. For now, they have Crew Dragon, they've got Falcon Heavy, they've got Falcon 9, all that to work with.
Hear me out. Like
I'm listening.
launching Starship or launching space station modules on Starship, awesome. Even better, launching Starship and turning it into a space station.
Starlab. Bring back Starlab.
Baby. Starlab, baby. Let's go, Starlab. I'm glad we all agree.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Well, dude, maybe Vast makes the pressure vessel. Maybe they make the Starlab module and they put that inside of a Starship with a payload bay, and they do Sawyer. They do just like Space Hab. Same idea.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Nope. Yep. I want
Sold.
that. Yep.
I want
Sold.
that bad.
Yep. Yep. Don't hate that. Hey, we got some breaking news in the back channel.
Well, you gotta wait. You're supposed to wait for Kevin's gonna do the
producer
thing.
will tell you when. How many streams have we done now? This is the 69th Flame Trench. Come on.
Yeah, but the breaking news thing is new. Don't give me that crap. We're testing out a new version, and the thruster stopped early. Okay, so we have conservative parameters.
Adjust your
but you need to be more clear. You need to be more clear about those parameters so that if it's your obligation as a taxpayer-funded, I don't know. I ran out of steam.
Letting it so the train that was trying to be kept on the line.
Joe, look, hey, we have breaking news. Surprise!
What? No.
Wait, I don't know what this is. I have no idea what this is. I got to read it.
Oh my god!
Road closure, dude. The road closure
I
is
know
now
what it is.
Monday.
I'm being sarcastic, like we were joking about it. Yeah, next road closure is Monday. Next Ship 38 testing opportunity is Monday.
All right.
That's
I'm
the
just
breaking
gonna
news.
go. Right.
So yeah, that's for Ship 38, guys. There's a road closure for the test. SpaceX did try to static fire it today, and it didn't. And then they tried to static fire it yesterday, and everyone was asking, can they static fire in the rain?
Yeah, probably.
And it looks like the answer was no this time.
Yeah, but they could. Like in theory.
Yeah, well, yeah, probably.
I mean, even just the other day when I'll stop. Yeah, so that's cool. I guess we get the weekend to have the ship on the mount, which is really cool. Like, it's not a common sight, and this is probably going to be the last time it happens, barring any issues with Ship 38's engine testing. So we get 2 days of visuals of this wacky configuration of Pad 1, which is nice. Like, even with full stacks lately, it's felt like they'll stack the thing and then launch it in a couple days. So we don't exactly get days of full stack visuals. So I'm actually I'm bummed they didn't get a static fire done today, but I'm stoked that we get a weekend of this wonky config.
Also, for the people saying that's not news, it is, because they're really trying to get this last mission off and get it off quickly, get rid of all the Block 2, and then work their way onwards to finally getting onto Block 3, being able to use the new pad, that pad versus this pad. You're welcome, EJ. And that pushes the timeline back. Basically, I think it's safe to say that every day that the static fires get pushed back is a day that the launch gets pushed back. So at this point, I don't know, we're talking late to the first week October now, as opposed to getting it the end of September, beginning of October.
Oh man, it's certainly interesting considering that the NSF UK meetup is the first week of October. Dot.
That sucks.
4th to 5th, right?
Oof.
So yeah, I really would have been great to see the ship static fired like Tuesday, Wednesday. That would have been great.
Yeah.
Not what happened.
Nah. Yeah, nah, mate.
Nah. Oh no.
Oh no.
What was that supposed to be?
I don't know.
Don't worry about it.
It's a bad Australian accent.
Yeah,
When
mate.
you went to
anyway,
New Zealand.
You got to work on it, mate.
Hey, Jack,
will
you
work
went
on
to
it.
New Zealand.
I did go to New Zealand. Sawyer, I know you're trying to do a segue.
No, I'm not. I'm actually not.
No, I'm not.
Don't no-sell me on the segue just because I no-selled you on the puns earlier.
Only fair.
I regret my decisions. Tell us about this awesome NSF Live you and Ryan did with Sir Peter Beck.
Yes, who called you out for not having enough Electron in the intro. In
Okay,
other words,
whoa.
Awesome.
Record scratch.
Yep, go ahead and correct it, because it does need correcting.
I bet you're wondering how we got here. Well, we got here because the CEO of a prominent rocket company said it looks poorly on us that Electron isn't in the intro. And I own the intro, so it looks poorly on me, and by proxy, all of my very hardworking coworkers who it should not look poorly on. But guess what? It is in the intro. It's in the intro. He said it wasn't in the intro. Ryan and Sawyer didn't push back. That's a separate conversation, Sawyer. I'm so mad at you. I'm so mad at you, Sawyer. I'm furious with you, Sawyer.
I didn't realize it was in the intro, my guy.
Anyway, it is in the intro. So, but to his point, it should be in the intro more. Electron launches a lot. It's basically SpaceX, Rocket Lab, and everybody else. So I get it. There should be more Electron in the intro. Maybe he wants full screen Electron. But it is in there. And I wasn't there to defend the honor of the intro. So, anyways, please continue. It was an amazing thing with a whole bunch of awesome information. I just had to get that out of the way.
I'm
Record
wondering,
needle
Jack.
is placed back on. Oh, God, no. Kevin's
You know where
talking.
the question's going.
No.
Jack,
No.
You know
how
it.
long and how many, actually, this is the question. How many times has Rocket Lab launched Electron since we decided that we were going to make a new intro?
Well, what I can tell you for a fact is that since NSF went there in June of last year, there have been 21 more Electron launches per Peter Beck's numbers.
In the intro. It's in the intro. It's in the intro. What do you want from me?
Where is it in the intro?
In one of the three. It's an Astra, a Firefly, and a Rocket Lab. It's a small sat screen. Come on. Like, what do you want from me? The thing is the intro is tough. It's hard to come up with, which rockets make it, because there's so many beautiful shots. Which shots go in, which shots don't make it in. You can only have so much time. I'm not saying Electron doesn't need to be in the intro more. It absolutely does. I'm on board with that. You just had to say it is in there.
Starship?
It is in there. What about
Starship
Beyond
has
Flight
flown
3?
9 times since?
9 times?
Hey Sawyer, tell us about the great, awesome interview with Peter Beck you did with
Wait a
Ryan.
minute.
That's a really good.
Can I say two things? So, one, Jack, if you're going to put anything in there, you need to put chomper fairing in there. You know what I'm saying?
It's supposed to be our footage. Like, obviously the James Webb footage is not our footage, but the point of the intro is it's all footage people at NSF have shot with a few small exceptions. That's the point.
Okay.
Like, that's
Right.
the whole point. It's like when
See.
you're watching a sitcom and the intro comes on and you see the guy like spill the milk. You might actually watch an episode where the dude spills the milk one time. So you can't just like be like, oh, this is like that drone shot that Rocket Lab posted a couple weeks or months back. They had a drone, it yoked out right at liftoff, beautiful shot. That doesn't go in the intro. You know why? It's not our shot.
Yeah. You know that you drive a hard bargain. That makes a lot of sense. So
It's almost as if the intro is a thing I have spent a lot of time on and considered deeply.
So
and I'm
what-
also way behind on a new version of Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin.
So what you're saying is, Peter Beck needs to invite us to New Zealand again, right?
Well, you know, the when Max and I
Right,
went to
right.
New Zealand, which was amazing, and thank you again to Rocket Lab for that invite. That was like they had a 50th launch of Electron, and they did like an open call on, I think, Twitter and various social media platforms, like, "Hey, we're doing a 50th launch of Electron. We're gonna have some photographers out to Mahia to photograph it and celebrate the 50th launch of Electron." I applied. Max applied. A bunch of people applied. It just so happened that Max and I both were the ones selected. It's not like it was an NSF trip. There's also a really great guy from New Zealand named Brendan who was also selected. What's up, Brendan? On the off chance that you happen to see this. Makes great nachos, except puts Vegemite on them. Or Marmite, whichever the
Oh.
one the New Zealand one is. Anyway.
Marmite.
Anyway, that was a great trip. And I did shoot a little bit of video. It's vertical video because you can, crop it and then track it and get a, like it looks like the camera is PTZ. Anyway, yeah, we need to go back. And an NSF Rocket Lab trip where we get a whole bunch of dedicated video for the intro would be really cool. And especially as, Wallops comes online and Neutron comes online, it needs to happen. It needs
So
to happen.
second part of this, because the Peter Beck interview was, we did the Peter Beck interview. Could we just take that shot of Peter Beck from the interview? That's because it's technically our footage. Can we just put that in the intro instead? Just a shot of Peter Beck talking for like a second. No audio.
I really appreciate Peter Beck. Like, he's an amazing,
Can we do that?
incredibly smart person. I don't know if that's intro worthy, EJ.
Can we do it for fun? Just once?
If it's
As a
Peter
treat.
Beck, if it's Peter Beck and Das standing in front of this pad and they set off the deluge like they did for that presser, and they get Das and Peter Beck wet, 100% in the intro, in it, no question. Day one in the intro.
Next time we interview him, let's just do an all Electron intro special. All Rocket Lab, all Electron footage, all Neutron stuff.
This
Just
and
for
much
Peter.
more has been discussed. Anyways, let's talk about the
pretty good
actual
idea.
interview and not the stupid intro, for Pete's
By the
sake.
way, I made a
But that was-
promise. By the time Neutron launches, they are going to be in the intro in a more
They are.
significant fashion than they are currently.
Weasel words.
I made a promise. I promised for NSF. So we have to follow through with our promises.
I am a man of my word, even if it's your word in my mouth. I do think Electron should be in there in a more prominent fashion. Maybe instead of a 3-box with Firefly, Astra, and Rocket Lab, it'll just be Rocket Lab, Rocket Lab, Rocket Lab, and like we can really just like drive the point home. And then
You should
Firefly and Astra will get like a 2-box.
just show a
Ooh!
picture of Peter Beck.
My AirPods are here. I'll be right back.
What?
the?
We're professionals. We swear. Right, Sawyer?
Sure, let's go with that. Anyway.
He's straight up left. All right, anyway, yeah, go. Sorry.
Yeah. So yes, we got to talk to Sir Peter Beck in New Zealand over there. It was
Why'd
a
you
great
say it
interview
like
because I don't know, Kiwi accent.
that? Okay. I'll shut up. Just go.
Sir Peter Beck. It's how you kind of say it with the Kiwi flair to it. Anyway.
All right. He's got his
I-
earpods.
Am I
No, go. I gotta be quiet. I'll be quiet. Go.
all right? And then he cut away. Kevin, what the heck, man? Anyway,
Is this an unboxing stream now?
Hey Jack, don't show that side of the box.
the one with the address? Yeah, not a good idea. Anyway, so let's start the fact of we did talk with him about Electron and the fact that yes, it is one of the most launched vehicles currently flying. Obviously, Falcon 9 taking the lead on that currently. When it comes to reusability, remember there was that whole thing of they were going to catch it midair and then they were going to use the boat to pick it up out of the water. Well, he basically said that they still have the one that they scooped out of the water in the factory, ready to go in the lineup to fly. They just haven't yet. And when asked, hey, you actually going to do that reusability thing with Electron? They said, it's not off the table. So it's on pause right now, but it is not off the table. So we may still see reused Electron in the future. But of course, the main focus was on Neutron in terms of their future vehicles. Obviously, future Mars telecommunication orbiters. I'll get to that in just a moment. But Neutron, they are really getting close with it. They're doing the testing. As we saw, they've opened up the new pad for Neutron, talking about, the way that they integrated the stages to improve for reusability. I asked him as a chat question, his thoughts on marine assets, because he's famously said that marine assets suck. And you may recall we've reported here on the Flame Trench previously that they have a vehicle return on investment that they now have as part of reusability, kind of like a drone ship.
Can I spoil something?
Sure.
Talking about Rocket Lab in the intro more.
Oh my God.
When we do new intros, the sound bites change. They change around a little bit, I think maybe one of a potential good soundbite for a new version of the intro would be "Marine assets suck." I think that's a good soundbite for the intro. I'm just saying. I don't know if it'll end up in there, but it's possible. It's possible. Anyway,
I asked him, and the way he worded it, he said, "Marine assets suck, but they are a necessary evil." That was his exact wording on that portion of it. So, yeah, they still suck, but as he pointed out, they're a necessary evil. And also, ground infrastructure sucks, because we asked if Neutron would basically fly out of any other pads, and besides maybe one on the West Coast. He's like, no, it's difficult getting all the GSE set up. It really is hard to get all of the pipes laid, to get everything built up, certified, ready to go. Screw that. No, we're going to fly where we have it now, of which we know, for now, remember when we were talking about the pad opening, like, how are they going to get Neutron actually on the pad?
Yeah,
we have the answer.
That was my question.
To start, a crane. And then eventually they will work on a system to fully close it and get it out there. Because he basically said that the end goal is to never have Neutron go horizontal. So basically when they stack everything vertical, the payload vertical, roll it out vertical, launch, obviously vertical, we would hope. So, they want all verticality for it. And then, of course, the big one, the one that everyone's been talking about, except by everyone, I mean Blue Origin and Rocket Lab and Rocket Lab and Rocket Lab, is the Mars Telecommunications Orbiter. There's also a really great video on Breaking Space, kind of breaking it down.
Who broke it?
It's broken.
Fix it. Fix it, Sawyer.
Well, they're really excited about being able to finally get that up and be a mainstay in communication speed. As we talked about, it's a way to kind of ease the load on the deep space network and to allow for that fast, easy communications with their own systems on the ground. They're really not looking for a big, giant Starlink-style network. Their main thing is they're going to start with the one, and the one should be pretty good, and then if they need, they could do like 2 or 3 so they have full planetary coverage. But, yeah, I mean, the main thing with that is, hey, we've got a way to get cheaper, easier communications that won't overload the DSN. So we got a lot of good info in that. If you have an hour and 6 minutes, it's absolutely worth it.
You know what? I dare say that was quite a technical update.
That's what a technical update's supposed to be, yeah.
I see what you guys did there.
Well, I didn't do it. Sawyer and Ryan did. But it was great work.
Oh, all right, Jack. Work on the intro then. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I was trying to give you a compliment and you rejected it.
Why is this my life? Why is this my life?
Dude, if you don't work on the intro, I'll work on the intro.
No,
Nobody
you
wants
will
that.
not.
Nobody wants
No, it'll be like the like when the thing just like sprays the ketchup. You know, the
Nope.
horrible. What
Chris
is this?
Bergen Bandicam intro.
Did you just make an Automato reference?
I did.
Whoa.
I think. Anyway,
It's automatic. Good on you. No one's
I-
going to get that joke, dude.
I don't even think I do. Crispy,
I certainly don't.
not to be confused with Chris B, gifting 10 red team memberships. Thank you so much, Crispy. Now I want something that's crispy.
Bacon?
Chicken.
Chicken. Ninja Decimator. Pew pew pew. Thank you so much for the support. Again, this is like number 3 or 4 today, if I'm not mistaken. They say Minnesota coast, best coast. SpaceX launch complex on Lake Superior in Minnesota needs to happen.
Ground
Who knows?
infrastructure sucks just as bad as marine infrastructure, apparently, at least in terms of being able to build it.
I mean, if point-to-point actually does happen ever, big if, you never know where they're going to end up putting a Starship launch pad. Jacob, thank you for becoming a Pad Rat member. Hooray.
That was like a prime segue for the next thing. Like, no?
I don't
No?
even know what I know what the next thing is. It's SpaceX being a good neighbor.
Like a good
No,
neighbor,
no.
SpaceX is there.
Hey, that actually works.
Are they though, Sawyer?
3 breaking news in one flame trench, chat. There you
We're
go.
gonna get that nowhere else. Nowhere else. Sawyer, in the pre-show, it seemed like you had some thoughts about this.
I
You wanna read it? You want me to read it, and then you can have thoughts? How do you want to play this, my
Here,
good buddy?
if you want to read through it, I'll then give you my thoughts on what SpaceX is doing following some, shall we say, concerns that have been
Some
raised
whining?
about the cadence.
Some whining? Is that what you mean by concerns? No. Wait. We'll save it. We'll save it. I'll read it first. In March,
Ooh, spicy.
It's the Flame Trench, baby. This is a presser on SpaceX's website. It's on their updates page. It's titled "Evolving the Multi-User Spaceport." In March of 2025, the astronauts of the Fram-2 mission watched the launch of a Falcon 9 rocket while on the way to their own rocket launch. They put that in bold. They really want you to know that they care about that. And it is cool.
Not that it's a link.
This moment, oh wait, it's not. Is it a link? It's a link. Oh, that's why. Wow, I know how to internet. Thank you, Sawyer.
Ow, I hurt my nose snorting on
This,
that.
this moment, that's what you get. This moment was a glimpse of the future of launch, where a rocket taking off is akin to that of an airplane today. SpaceX was founded in 2002 to expand access to outer space, not just for government or traditional users, but for entrants around the globe. Today, we're launching at an unprecedented pace as the world's leading launch services provider. We're safely and reliably... Stop moving it around, Kevin. How am I supposed to read it? Stop. No, come on, dude. No, this can't be my life.
Keep doing it.
Please don't. Where was I even? We're safely and reliably launching astronauts, satellites, and other payloads on missions benefiting life on Earth and preparing for our ultimate goal, to make life multiplanetary. To achieve this goal, SpaceX and its partners in the U.S. government have been transforming the traditional capabilities required for any launch provider to operate. Continuously challenging the status quo will enable U.S. providers to launch at previously unimaginable rates without compromising safety, while being good stewards of the environment and ensuring America's place at the forefront of space exploration. Am I supposed to read this whole thing? Like, it's actually a really long post.
I can give you the cliff notes.
It took me a good chunk of time to read it. The next section is titled Airport-Like Operations. EJ, give us the cliff notes, because I fear that Kevin's going to keep swapping it around on me and making it hard to read.
You got to study. You got to study more, Jay.
I read it. I read the thing. I have thoughts, but
I read the. What do you mean you read the thing? You could.
We all read the
read
thing.
like 3 paragraphs.
do you want to read the rest of it? I can read the rest of it.
No. I mean,
I read it when they posted it. When they posted it, I was out at the launch site shooting, so the camera was rolling, and I, took 5 or 10 to sit there and read it. And I read it.
You didn't memorize it?
No.
By the way, that
Why
took
not?
2 minutes for 2 paragraphs, just in terms of trying to figure out how long it would take to read this.
What are you, Alex? What
Yeah,
are you,
Alex
Alex?
said in the back channel. That's why.
Were you writing the script for? Oh wait, that's literally what Alex
It's
said.
literally what Alex said. That's why.
Oh boy. All right. So, fellas, let me bring you up to speed what this means. You know, at face value, it kind of looks like it's like, well, yeah, of course SpaceX is going to launch more, but this is an interesting problem that is kind of looming on the horizon. It's not necessarily a problem right now, but it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. The article basically goes through and says how SpaceX has been doing destructive testing at McGregor and has been, well, essentially blowing up methalox mixtures of tanks to understand how a methane liquid oxygen explosion propagates. SpaceX even said that they had used past failed test articles to measure this phenomenon. The idea there is to basically understand, you know, the absolute nightmare scenario, even though it's very unlikely of happening, the absolute nightmare scenario of what happens if a Starship goes wrong during a launch or anything.
Hey,
And-
really quick.
Hello.
Yeah. To just put a pin in what you just said, they used Ship 36's explosion to validate the data that they've been gathering with their other MOX or methane oxygen explosion testing. So like, hey, we had this horrible thing happen. Well, we can gather data from it and use that to validate our methalox explosion science. Anyways, I thought that was cool, making lemonade out of lemons. Please continue, EJ.
Yep. Life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Get
when
mad.
When life gives you ruds, make data.
I don't want your dang lemons. What the heck am I supposed to do with these? All right. Anyway, if you got it, good for you. So they've been basically blowing up like little small tanks and dropping them and making explosions around McGregor to understand how a methane explosion, a methalox explosion happens, which is interesting because they make methalox explosions come out of rocket engines like on the daily. If you watch McGregor live, you'd know that. Just saying, Jeff. Just saying. I got it up right now. Anyway, actually, that's Starbase Live. But hey, you know, there's Raptors there too. Don't look at me like that. Jeez. Anyway, so what SpaceX is trying to do is prove that what's called the blast detonation area, or BDA, around rockets doesn't need to be as big as it needs to be. It is way, way, way too big. And as a vehicle matures, the area of like, don't get near this thing. It's a rocket, and if it pops, you're going to have a bad day if you're standing next to it, right? That area is going down. And if you could see, like over here, this is Kevin. Thank you for putting this up. That is the cordoned off area on the left for the Orbcomm 2 mission in 2015. That was SpaceX's first return to launch site and first landing successfully of a Falcon 9 booster. I mean, they all landed in one way or another. This was the first one to land in one piece. That was their first landing, right? If you look at the area that's cordoned off, you could clearly see the launch site up at the top, landing site down at the bottom. Now, I know what people are going to ask. Why is the launch site such a big area? Well, that's because SpaceX was using densified liquid oxygen, and they have pretty much in every subsequent Falcon 9. That densified liquid oxygen was the same reason why Almost 6, the RUD in 2016, happened. Actually, after this, believe it or not. So that warning area was pretty... it was a pretty good idea at the time.
Right.
But since then, Falcon 9 has gotten way more reliable. And you can see that the areas over here, I'm pointing, again, the camera's too small. I'm vertical videoed right now. Help me. You can see on the right frame that nowadays, that's the Falcon Heavy Goes U mission. A Falcon Heavy, a gigantic freaking rocket, which has areas that are basically this, just the immediate area around the launch and landing areas. As the areas where you can't go, that's the area that's cordoned off. Nobody else can be anywhere else. Like, as Falcon has matured, it is able to achieve more airline-like operations.
Right.
And
I can even speak to this on a personal level. I mean, launches out of Vandenberg, for a long time, Surf Beach would be closed. And Surf Beach is an Amtrak station and a beach right there between sort of the runway and Slick 2 on the north side of Vandenberg, and Slick 3 and Slick 4 on the south side of Vandenberg, also Slick 6.
Yes.
Over time, look at that MOX.
Yeah, see that's one of the explosions that they did. They dropped that thing. And they're watching how the explosion propagates. It's actually really cool. Destructive testing is fun.
It is. Over time, Surf Beach has become open for most Falcon 9 trajectories except for RTLSs. So they have shrunk that blast danger area with Falcon 9 to the point where now you can watch from Surf Beach really, nice and close up out on the West Coast. We've seen it happen with Falcon 9. So now they're going to try and they're signaling that that's going to happen as well with Starship, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what they're doing. The reason, and Jackie, I'm kind of going to get into here for a second. Like, sorry, I'm going to talk for a second. There's really no way to explain this without a little bit of a synopsis, right? I'm going to try to keep it short. I won't Alex you. Alex, I love you, buddy. I give long answers too. I understand. All right. With that all being said, the reason why SpaceX put this out there is because, Falcon launches once every 2 to 3 days. It's sub 2-day launch cadence at this point. They've launched like 119 missions or 120 missions this year. Starship is going to be even more, or at least planned to be even more than that. Now, the reason why SpaceX put this out there is because there has been concerns from other launch providers about, if you're, something like Starship isn't Falcon. If you have something like Starship, it's going to need a much bigger area to be cordoned off, right? Because it's a bigger vehicle. If something goes wrong, like what happens with Ship 36, it's going to make a bigger explosion. And that means that's more downtime for us. We're never going to get a chance to launch. If your ship is launching every hour, we're not going to get a chance anyway, let alone if it pops, right? So this SpaceX article is very interesting. It's kind of very telling as to the situation about where the Cape is going. And that's what I mean when I said at the beginning of this, there's a problem looming on the horizon. How do you move a spaceport, which, let's be real. Sora, you remember back in the day, the range was like one launch every 2 months or something, right? Mm-hmm. And now it's like almost hourly. Like there's rockets going out of the Cape all the time. It's to the point where, people ask me like, hey, EJ, I'm going to KSCBC. Will I see a launch? Yes, you will. You most likely will. I'm spending a week in Central Florida. I'm going to Disney World. What day should I go to see the launch? Just go. You'll see one. Heck, you could see it from Disney World, right? So it's very interesting that SpaceX is very forthcoming with this information because, other launch providers have, let's be real. It was from Jim Bridenstine's testimony to the Senate the other day about needing more spaceports and stuff. Like he said that on the congressional record when he was testifying to the Senate about, the state of the U.S. space program. And then all of a sudden we see a SpaceX article addressing the exact issue that's his concern. SpaceX basically, long story short, SpaceX basically say this isn't a big deal. We're studying how it's working. It's not going to be a big deal. Starship is not going to impede anybody. It has the potential to have a safety area, like an area that gets cordoned off that's like just as small or smaller than Falcon in the future. That's basically what this whole article says. They want to move to airline-like operations, and they aren't going to impede other launch providers from launching their stuff either at the same time. So this is basically SpaceX saying, we're good. We got this. Whether that happens or not, don't know.
To an extent, they're saying, trust us, bro. But to another extent, they are... I read through the thing, and I like to consider myself a skeptic. It seemed pretty reasonable for the most part. The one thing that did sort of catch me out is the blast danger area or the clear zone for a full stack Starship launch that they're aiming for or aiming to get to or proposing or whatever. Remarkably small, like just over a mile. But if you think about it, in Starbase, that would be the equivalent of somebody watching the launch from around our highway site, which is stupid close, don't get me wrong, but not out of the realm of possibility. The hard roadblock is not too far. It's only a couple hundred feet away from our highway site. So this is an aggressive proposal, but I at least appreciate. It's like when SpaceX was launching Starlink satellites, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, they're so bright," and they're like, "Hey, look, we're going to work with the astronomy community. We're going to try and make them less bright." Obviously, the brightness of the satellite is primarily a problem for optical and not radio telescopes. That's a whole other thing, etc. But SpaceX at least communicating and saying, "Hey, we think it's not going to be as big of a deal as some people are saying. We hope to be good neighbors. We're going to try really hard to not be jerks to everybody." That's good. That's a good thing. But I don't live on the Space Coast, and I don't necessarily have all of the all of the context and experience of being a Space Coast beat reporter that Sawyer does. And in the pre-show, Sawyer, it seemed like you had some thoughts.
Oh, do I?
Here we go.
I'm buckling in. I'm strapping in.
So when you're talking about, SpaceX saying, "Oh, it won't cause impact to other people; it'll be fine," that's like a chewing gum company doing research that says chewing gum is good for you. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, of course they're going to say that. They're doing their own research. It's not like it's an independent organization coming out and saying, "Actually, all that sugar is going to destroy your teeth." 9 out of 10 dentists. It's
really quick. Before you go further into your thoughts,
oh my god!
Just I'm so sorry. You're so mad at me this week. I'm so
What is it
sorry.
with interrupting Sawyer this week?
Seriously?
All right, Sawyer, go. No, Sawyer, go.
No,
I'm done.
No,
nope, not
you're
gonna do
already
it. Nope.
on your train of thought. Go for it.
Nope.
SpongeBob. All right.
What was it, Jack? No, because people are already ready for the pessimism. So before I become Ryan Weber, what was it?
Any company that does this sort of study is going to say, "Hey, it's going to be great." If this was ULA launching a Starship-sized vehicle, they would put out the same study and say, "Hey, it's going to be fine." Like,
right.
yes, they're saying, "Trust us, bro," because that's in their best interest. But any company would do that.
That is fair. I will agree with you on that completely. Absolutely. ULA does their own study, it would be the same. And that's worth pointing out, though. It is their own study. This is not some independent organization that looked at all the data, looked at SpaceX's numbers and said, yeah, this is totally valid. So just putting that out there before I get into my thoughts on this. There are a lot of things that they mention briefly, but aren't really fully taken into account right now. Keep in mind, they also are going to need to keep trucking in the propellants. They mentioned in the thing, yeah, we're going to start making our own propellants so that we're not using up all of the resources that the other launch pads need at the Cape, like liquid oxygen, being able to source their own methane, all the air converters, things like that. I get that. But at the same time, the number of trucks that are going to be rolling in and taking up the roadways and the number of deliveries they're still going to have. When it comes to Falcon 9 also, it's a much smaller rocket. And as we pointed out, yeah, they're set to fly probably 100 times this year from Florida. But that has a proven track record at this point. I think down the line, yeah, absolutely, it will not be as big of an issue. But for the beginning of the Starship program, where take a look at what happened this week with just trying to get the ship static fire. Imagine shutting down the Cape for that. For Thursday, didn't go. Friday, same thing. Shut it down for the testing. Didn't go. Now you'd have to try again Monday. If there wasn't any beach restrictions, it might be tomorrow. But you know what I mean. That many days in a row, when you're shutting it down for hours, as you're in this early testing phase, is going to be disruptive. Now, down the line, I think that SpaceX is on the right track here. As they fly it more, as they learn how the vehicle performs more, as they learn how their ground infrastructure specifically at the Cape works, yes, they will absolutely be able to limit that blast danger area. They will absolutely be able to limit the amount of time needed for the roads to be closed, which would affect people to be able to work out at, say, pad 41 or 39B or 36, anything like that, depending on which pad you're launching from. That's going to happen. But until that point, that's when we're going to run into issues. And I know the counter argument to that. People are saying, yeah, but also ULA is still not launching that much yet. New Glenn isn't launching that much yet, so it's not that big of an issue because they don't have the cadence either. Well, yes, true. But my thought process is as each of them then tries to do their testing, that's going to keep pushing it back, and that's where you get that friction between the different companies. So years from now, I think what SpaceX is saying is going to be 100% correct. But for these next 2 or 3 years, as they try and figure this all out, get everything working, getting to that airline-like operations, that's when we're going to see issues. Because Starship is not at that point. Falcon 9 kind of is. Starship is not. What was that
Dang,
for?
Buzzed you. What?
Wow,
Why'd
you got the
you
buzz.
buzz him?
I mean, look, just to play counterpoint here, SpaceX has Starbase for their weird, wacky dev stuff. There is absolutely going to be some growing pains at the Cape when they first get vehicles out there. So I get your point, Sawyer. At the beginning of the Starship program at the Cape, there's going to be some false starts. Hey, wasn't there like a really big orange rocket that launched on an Artemis 1 sort of mission that scrubbed 4 times and shut down 39A a whole bunch of times? And like, it's not just a Starship thing, it's an every rocket thing. And when you have ops that are starting out, yeah, there's going to be a little bit of delays or glitchiness, but hopefully Starbase, being the like research and dev location, means that they can get a lot of that stuff out of the way. And really all they have to worry about with the Cape side is shakedown, like make sure the pad systems and everything work. And there's not like, hey, we tried to static fire the ship at 39A and it didn't static fire, so Vulcan can't launch tomorrow. Like that seems, to me anyway, like that's not really in the cards. If it was, that would be bad. I agree.
And again, like I pointed out, and I see people bringing it up in chat, New Glenn is obviously not launching at the pace of Falcon 9 or even Starship at this point. It has flown once. Right now, ULA is finally trying to pick up their pace with Vulcan, but have they yet? No, they really haven't.
They will.
They've had one flight so far, was it 1 or 2 of Vulcan this year, and a couple of Atlas launches, with another one scheduled for later this month for Kuiper. So I get that right now it's not a concern, but we're talking Starship, say, a year from now? Let's say that we're getting Starship flights semi-regularly from the Cape a year from now, which might be a little ambitious. ULA plans to launch more a year from now. New Glenn will have flown, in theory at this point, a year from now.
Wow.
Artemis 2 will have hopefully even flown a year from now. Things are going to change within that year, and I can see where that frustration is going to be, where you have companies that are trying to pick up the pace and can't. So I get where people are coming from, and yeah, the other participants at the spaceport right now don't have the launch cadence that SpaceX does, or will, in my opinion, will have the cadence that SpaceX ever does. But it's still worth noting that they have a cadence.
I mean, yeah. It's like first mover advantage. SpaceX started first. They got there first. They're doing all of this first. And to a certain extent, a lot of this feels like whining by people trying to play catch up. On the other hand, yeah, if I was a company developing a new rocket and worried about constraints to that development, I would voice those frustrations. That said, one of the things in the update that SpaceX put, which again is from SpaceX, so take it with a boulder-sized grain of salt, is that they have worked with and will continue to work with other launch providers at the Cape to deconflict things, which, we'll see how that goes in practice. But at least in theory, that they're saying the right words. Hopefully they do the right actions and to follow that up.
I mean, I want to be wrong.
Okay, this is. I mean, sorry, you got the gears turning up here, which might be a dangerous thing or not. I don't know. We'll find out. So now I'm wondering, like, okay, so where my mind is going is like these other launch providers are concerned about SpaceX. They're concerned about SpaceX. They're concerned about blast Asia. You're concerned about impeding other launches because they launch so much. Now, I'm sorry, like, forgive me for this is more devil's advocate on my part than anything. But I guess the question is, fellas, like, why should SpaceX be punished because everybody else is going so slow?
I agree. They should not be punished. I don't feel like they are being punished, but I also feel like it's important to be a good neighbor. It's a multi-user spaceport. I mean, in the same way that, like, you don't want to be a jerk to the person living next to you, you probably don't want to be a jerk to the person launching next to you either. And it doesn't sound like SpaceX wants to be, and that's great. Now, it's like this is like neighborhood block party drama. It's like you go over to get some more chips, and Ted is like, "Can you believe what Bill did? He mowed his lawn 2 inches too short. It's not in the HOA agreement." And you're like, "Dude, I just wanted some chips. In this case, I just want to see some launches." Like, however we get there, I'm fine with it. And the drama back and forth between the companies, I'm less interested in, as long as everyone's playing nice. Just play nice. It's fine. Hopefully they do.
But SpaceX, okay, all right. I'm playing devil's advocate. It's like I'm not, I try not to be too big of a SpaceX fanboy. It's tough.
Jack's the one that looks like he has horns right now from his chair.
Oh God.
Dude, he totally did. Okay. All right. So
That's what I get for interrupting Sawyer so much.
Hey,
Payback.
Karma, man. Yeah.
Yep.
So SpaceX has this Starlink constellation that they have to maintain. They have to launch. They can't be waiting around a week or 2 or 3 for something like Artemis to get off the pad, right? That could really, really, really impede their business model, don't you think? So, it's just, I don't know. This really doesn't have much bearing on like the multi-user spaceport day, but it's just something that I'm thinking of in the back of my mind. And that SpaceX is thinking about this, right? They're thinking about like, oh, these people that are trying to scale, right? ULA is trying to scale with Vulcan for Project Kuiper. Blue Origin is trying to scale with New Glenn for Artemis and for Kuiper as well. You got new players on the, down at the Space Force Station. You have Relativity. You have Stoke, which just completed their pad. Looks fantastic, guys. The pad, their flame trench. He said the thing. Look,
Hey! Ding 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 ding.
You got a lot of new players coming on the pad. Like, who knows what kind of teething problems those people are going to have? Those rockets are going to have a gigantic blast area that you can't get near because it's a prototype rocket. I mean, Jack, you spoke to it. SpaceX is, they're testing their stuff down at Boca, right? So, there will be some teething problems when you get to the cave. There always is because, as Peter Beck said, ground surfacing equipment is a pain in the butt. It's a big pain in the butt. But what happens when all these other launch providers that are trying to scale end up impeding SpaceX operations? Like, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to flip it on its head. Like, I think either way, right. It's like there's legit arguments on both sides here. But it's one of those things. Like, if New Glenn's going to be on the pad and it's going to take like a week because they keep scrubbing, or SLS is on the pad, like that's so much downtime for SpaceX that could screw up Starlink connectivity because they didn't replace the satellites in time. I mean, they have to keep launching.
For some launch providers, a delay of a couple days to a week to a couple weeks is like a drop in the bucket. It's inconsequential. For SpaceX, a delay of a week is that's what, 5 launches, 6 launches. It's a huge number of launches. I think just to put a bow on my personal thoughts here, SpaceX has repeatedly put their money where their mouth is. I mean, look at ATFS. Alex brought this up in our back channel. Like, SpaceX developed automated flight termination system. They're flying Falcon 9 on it to ease the stress on the range, I guess is a way I would put that. Constraints on the range. But if they continue to act in good faith and do things of that nature, things like they did with ATFS, if they continue to, as they say in the presser, if that's to be believed, work with other launch providers, EJ, I think it'll end up being mostly like what you said. I know you're trying to like deliberately flip it, but I think it'll end up being the other providers that end up slowing SpaceX down, not the other way around.
Yeah.
I don't know, just something I kind of thought, because I mean that this is not something I planned on saying. It was just something I was thinking about, like, and I think that's very telling why SpaceX is doing something like this. I don't think they're doing it because, well, obviously they're doing it because safety is the number one priority. That is something that every launch provider understands, and they all talk with each other about, being safe and like, hey, we're going to launch this now, we're going to do this, that, like. That is one thing that there's no secrets there. But I think SpaceX is also being preemptive. They're being preemptive with this because I don't necessarily think that they're worried about Falcon launch operations getting impeded because the danger zone is so ridiculously small. Starship will have a large one, but its zone will go down as well, too, right? But what about these other rockets? If SpaceX can prove that you don't need as big of a blast detonation area, that, and NASA or the range is like, oh yeah, you're right, we don't need to do that as much. SpaceX's operations themselves won't be impeded on the Cape by anyone. Nobody's operations will impede anybody's operation, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's very telling that there's more to it than just like, hey, we don't want our rocket to blow up and hurt people, right? I think they're hedging their bets here. Not because they're afraid about their rockets being unsafe, but maybe others that would impede their own operations on the Cape. I don't know, just a thought. Maybe I'm wrong.
I hadn't even thought of that. It's like some 4D chess.
Yeah, no, I sound like the Charlie Day meme. Like, they're doing it because of this, man. Like, no, but think about it. It makes sense, right?
No, sorry, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, it really is. It comes down to safety. And like I said in my point, I want to make sure that I make it clear that this is not, SpaceX being bad. This is not SpaceX, should be a better neighbor. Like you pointed out, SpaceX is the one with the cadence right now. The other ones are the ones that need to catch up. And as noted, it could even be the potential of slowing SpaceX down, waiting for these other people. But I think what SpaceX has here is correct for a couple of years from now. I think the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to get a lot of complaining. You're getting a lot of more from Tori and from anyone else trying to launch, from Jeff, basically saying, hey, we want our range time. There's too much this, there's too much that. They're closing everything down. We're going to hear it for a couple of years, and then 3 years from now, it's going to go away. It was the same thing with Falcon 9. All the airlines were complaining because it's closing down the airspace. Other launch providers, having to deconflict with them. Same thing. How much of that do we hear now? We really don't. So that's why I think SpaceX has the right idea, but it's going to be a few years before we see it as SpaceX had it in the graph, as SpaceX is explaining it, where it's basically a no factor. It'll get there. And also, we've been saying it wrong. The Kennedy Space Center is the world's premier multi-user spaceport. Thank you very much.
I always found that weird for them to say when there's like Cape Canaveral Space Force Station right below
there.
it with
Right
more
there.
users than Kennedy Space Center.
It's like when the port of LA is like, we're the biggest port in the world, and the port of Long Beach is like, bruh, we're basically the
We're
second
right
port.
We're right here, man.
I can hear you.
I can hear you talking. I'm sorry, I always thought that was funny.
An interesting point from Chris Blinson in chat, saying NASA and Cape Canaveral Space Force Station should upgrade the infrastructure to limit the impact as well. For example, Glenny
He's wearing the thing.
Glenny has to go all the way up past 39A to get to Launch Complex 36 because the bridge can't support.
Causeway can't hold a rocket that big. That's a good point.
So it's not just about range. It's not just about the blast danger area. It's also about stuff like this, like infrastructure at the Cape and at Kennedy Space Center. That's one of the things that Presser talked about is like, again, how they're trying to generate their own propellants, like Sawyer mentioned, so that they're not just gobbling up everything on a pre-existing pipeline and screwing over other providers in that way. But clearly, we're in a new era of spaceflight. It's like the second golden age of spaceflight, and we're still operating on first golden age infrastructure in a lot of cases, or like 1.5. It's like the first golden age infrastructure that we've like sort of semi-modernized in the 80s and 90s, kind of a little bit maybe, with like scrap money.
Yeah. And it's worth noting, again, in terms of the infrastructure, like you're talking about, there are a lot of shared pipes that have been built underneath that most people don't realize. Like, there is nitrogen lines running all throughout the entirety, basically, of the spaceport that users can tap into. And in fact, there was, I believe, a ULA launch that they had to delay because NASA had issues maintaining that line, and it wasn't an issue with their pad or their nitrogen system, it was NASA's line that had the issue.
Was that the first Vulcan or the last Delta IV?
I'm trying to remember.
I remember the one you're
on time. It had to have been Delta.
I remember the one you're talking about. Or was it SLS? Oh man.
No, it was a ULA mission, but still, regardless, the point stands. That was actually shared infrastructure that was the issue. So there is a lot of stuff that is shared. So SpaceX saying, hey, we're going to make our own stuff is big. Plus, like we talked about, you see how many trucks it takes to deliver propellant to Starbase, especially after each test attempt and all of that. That, on those roadways, the roadways are already old. They're potholes. They're going to have to rework them. They're already widening and reinforcing some of the roadways ahead of Starship, which benefits other providers as well. But they're trying to anticipate for that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fellas,
Go ahead, Jack.
I got my mind's going somewhere else. Twitch chat actually brought this up too, and this is a good point. In that same Senate testimony where Jim Bridenstine said, like, we got to be worried about impinging, the Eastern Testing Range and having true multi-user spaceport. He also talked about potential having other spaceports. Okay, why does everything have to launch out of the Cape? Why not make more spaceports? Jim even, I don't think he used this, like, I don't think he actually, I don't know, maybe chat, you guys here, I'll just say what he said, and you guys, and Jack and Sora, you guys think about this too. Jim said, like, maybe we can move to doing inland launch sites, having launch sites, in that are not on a coast eventually, Is more spaceports the answer here? Like, I don't know. Like, what's the bandwidth for, what's the theoretical, like, maximum bandwidth of something like, of an entity like the Eastern Testing Range, which is basically the air, the air traffic control for the Cape.
Right.
What like, do we have another? Do we split the Eastern Testing Range? Like, what do we do? Do you guys think more spaceports are the answer necessarily?
I mean, one of the things they pointed out in that article was specifically the fact of why they use Cape Canaveral Space Force Station and KSC, because it is one of the few places right now where you can get those low to mid inclination orbits from the United States. So I think if they were going to do that, they would have to consider somewhere, I don't know, somewhere more tropical, somewhere closer to the equator, maybe an island, kind of like they had with Falcon 1, something along those lines, because that's the main issue. Is if you want to get to where SpaceX wants to go, I don't think going inland is going to help as much. I know there are companies that have talked about building one in, I think there was Maine at one point. There was Georgia at one point having a spaceport. I think with their main goal being these low to mid inclination orbits, you would need to get somewhere totally away from the continental US to make it viable to be able to launch as much as you want into those orbits that you want and not disrupt the entirety of the Eastern Range. Because again, the Eastern Range covers pretty much the entirety of the Eastern Seaboard. That includes the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport in Wallops and KSC and Cape Canaveral Space Force Station.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying, Sawyer. Like, I think having something that's not on the East Coast, like Kwajalein or something, not a bad idea. Or maybe even Hawaii. Like, it has a heavy port. You can move stuff out there. Jack, what's up?
Hold my beer.
Hold my Red
Western
Bull.
Equatorial Launch Corridor. Launch overland over the United States from California. What could go wrong?
How about no?
I joke. I am joking if it's not clear. Thank you, Sawyer, for the Dr. Evil. But no, like, legitimately, we're talking about in this presser from SpaceX, the blast danger area for launches shrinking. At what point do rockets become reliable enough, safe enough, have launched enough, and have enough heritage, something like a Falcon 9 amount of launches, to where the dangers are known? It's like an it's like an airliner. I know airliner-like operations is a cliche thing that gets bandied around at this point, but when rockets do actually hit that, which I think we all firmly believe they will, we can argue about the timeline that will take, but I think we all agree, just like when planes first existed, there was like the barnstorming days and it was the Wild West. We're there with rockets now, but we're not always going to be there. And in a good, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, however many years, we're going to get there for rockets. And having a spaceport that's in your, local metropolitan area will be no different than having an airport in your local metropolitan area. But how long will that take? I don't know.
Yeah. And the other thing that I want to point out is, see, I'm interrupting you this time. The one thing I want to point out is when it comes to Starbase and you think about the range, that's not the Eastern Range. Who owns the range there, Jack?
I was looking at the back channel.
I was like, who owns the range, Jack, for Starbase?
Yeah, Jack. Who owns
SpaceX
it?
does. It's SpaceX.
Right.
Oh.
It's SpaceX's range. They
So the
get
benefit
to,
of
it's
going
their
somewhere where
toys,
you're
it's their
not
rules.
sharing the eastern range and you get to control the range yourself, I mean, I feel like that suits SpaceX better. Although it's worth noting that there are parts during the flight where it does go near the eastern seaboard, and that part is monitored and controlled by the eastern range. But if you get somewhere far south enough and out of the way, you don't need to worry about the eastern range, which means you control your launch cadence easier.
I'm excited to see a proliferation of launch sites around the world. It's going to happen. It's a matter of time. And it's interesting to see that SpaceX has considered their impacts on Kennedy Space Center and Cape Canaveral so thoroughly. And their impacts on all of their launch sites. I mean, they even talked about Vandenberg briefly in that presser. But yeah, there's going to be a proliferation, right? At some point. We just don't know when. You know what? There could also be a proliferation of our merch in your possession. If you run over to shop.nasaspaceflight.com, you can grab some of our sweet merch. The summer merch is going away. So Shirtless Jack is going away. I know you're all so sad about that. But yeah, the summer collection is going away. So if you want a Hawaiian shirt or the ladies' shorts or any of that good summer merch, you should probably get it now because summer is ending. Don't zoom in on it. For the love of God. For the love of God, Kevin, I'm right here. I look like that. Don't make me look at it live on air. Also, we have prints. Let's talk about the prints. How about we talk about prints? Hey, look, that got him. Portion of the sale from each print goes to the photographer who made the image. If you didn't know that, we always bring it up because it makes a meaningful difference to the photographer who shot the image. Like at the end of the month, when the print check comes in, we can get a new lens, or we can pay for gas or food or whatever it is. It really does mean the world to us. It's an honor to have our work on your walls. And it supports the individual photographer as well as NSF. The prints, again, they come on metal and paper. If you get a metal print, super easy to hang, doesn't need a frame, goes right in the wall, printed directly on metal, looks great. I cannot plug the prints enough. They're absolutely beautiful. We give a lot of attention and care into the images that are selected for the print shop on the store. This one is an excellent explosion shot of 36 from D. Again, every little bit helps. You're helping support NSF. You're helping support the photographer for whoever shot that particular image. And you're helping yourself get something cool on the wall. So that's the merch store. Proliferate some prints in your apartment today.
And you're helping Jack fix his Land Rover.
You actually are. My Land Rover.
Seriously, yeah.
No, like legitimately, my Land Rover is running again. Has cool air, has cool coolant, has brakes. It's like I have spent a lot of money in the last 2 weeks getting the Land Rover fully back up to snuff, and that is in no small part thanks to the print sales that I managed to make during Flight 10. It was a huge help to me, and honestly. It hurts my head a little bit to think about, to really quantify it like this, but I was talking to Anthony over at the Rocket Ranch the other day. All of these issues with my Land Rover that happened during Tropical Storm Francine last year when it flooded Starbase. All of the little issues all started popping up because I drove through a whole bunch of super high water during Hurricane Francine. So I'm only just now digging myself out of that hole. It clicked in my head the other day.
You never told me that.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. The ranch was underwater. They had to do a GoFundMe to build a new road. I sunk an excavator sort of into the Rio, kind of.
Yeah.
There was the Highway 4 was under 3 feet of water. So to even access the sites to do battery swaps, it was dude, the next several $100 purchase for the Land Rover that I'm going to make now that it's actually functional again.
They lifted. Don't say
snorkel.
Lifted. Okay, all right.
It's already lifted. It's already got a 2.5-inch lift.
Can I just say that transition, by the way, was as smooth as Highway 4.
Thanks, Sawyer.
Wow.
For those who don't know, Highway 4 is very bumpy.
I've interrupted you enough on this stream. I deserve some kickback. I guess I deserve this.
You know what? Our international folks also deserve to have fair shipping prices too, I should point out. Right, Jack?
Oh yeah, if you're international, go to the shop and see if the shipping prices are fixed. I think we fixed them. They should be fixed. If you see the pricing for international shipping and you're an international customer, let us know in chat. It should be fixed. I want to see like if it's exorbitant still, because I know there was some issues with shipping internationally on was it the Flight 10 patch? I believe it was.
Oh yeah.
That should be fixed. So chat, let me know if that's fixed. I think it's fixed. In the meantime, Mr. G, thanks for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Sedated We, thank you for the super chat. They say my Flight 10 patch is on the way. Haha, synergy. Get them while you can at the NSF shop. Just wanted to share my excitement with a plug. Thank you so much, Sedated. Jim Yoder with a $5 super. Thank you, Jim. They say, should we consider creating another spaceport on the East Coast besides Cape Canaveral and Wallops? Maybe something in the Carolinas. I mean, yeah, Georgia, get your game together. Carolinas, get your game together. I really don't care. Somewhere.
Georgia tried to. They tried.
I know.
They got NIMBY'd hard. They tried.
That's why we can't have nice things, man.
Georgia has like prime coastline. That's like a wildlife preserve, just like KSC. But there's the people that live, close to that wildlife like preserve are like, well, we're never gonna, how will we see the trees if there's a spaceport here?
Look, I get it. You buy a house, you're concerned with the property value because that's your equity, and the American economy is built on home ownership and real estate, and blah, blah, blah. But I get it. Perhaps a launch site being near your house would make the property value go up.
Boca Chica.
Because rocket nerds like us, Starbase. maybe it would actually be a windfall. You ever think about that, people? Come on.
Old man yells at Georgians?
I'm so tired of everything in life seeming to be penny wise, pound foolish. Like, it's just frustrating. It really does. It's the Boots theory of economics, just played out over and over and over again. Hey, Viper's too expensive. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Here's more money. Like, anyway. What are we talking about next? Starship, am I right?
Yeah. Oh, you'll thank me later.
Oh,
I will
thank me later. Yes.
EJ,
No?
give us a rundown on this, because there appears to be a new drone ship or some sort of barge, water ship.
Oh,
do we call trucks land ships now? Like, what are we doing? What is this? Not everything's a ship.
American Landship Simulator. Yes, I love that game.
it's a good game.
I would actually play that. I would actually play that.
That's good. So, Elon cryptically posted, "You'll thank me later." He was riddlering on X, because we love it when people do that. And he just posted, "You'll thank me later," and everybody thought it's like, oh, it's some crazy Tesla play or something. Now the guy, just on a side note, did rebuy a bunch of Tesla stock. On a quick side note, not sure if that's correlated. Probably isn't. But it ended up being code for SpaceX's new naval asset, we'll say. I'm pretty sure.
EJ, wait.
O'Reilly?
What if it was correlated? What if it was correlated to the stock buy, but they retroactively named the drone ship that for plausible deniability to the FCC or FF, whatever. Anyways,
It's being a Charlie day now.
FTC.
All right. Carol. Okay. Anyways, continue.
So, I'm pretty sure it's Marmac 308, which is a barge that was being built, and it was christened by. So Marmac is the name of the company. 308 is the barge serial number. It's a floating barge that's 300 by 100 feet. So for metric people, that is 33 meters by 100 meters, give or take. It's big. It's quite large. It is large enough to move a super heavy and a Starship horizontally from Boca Chica to the Cape. That is the reason why SpaceX scored this drone ship. We had it confirmed from Elon, and then Kiko Donchev on X also, who's a higher up at SpaceX. Kiko, forgive me, I forgot your job title. I'm sorry. I was hype about the boat, man. I'm sorry. Okay. Boat hype is real. This thing is absolutely gigantic. So basically the running plan right now, as was outlined, was take Starship and Super Heavy, turn them horizontally with what's called a breakover device, and move them to the Cape on this gigantic barge. Like, I don't know if they're going to give it propulsion. And as Jack said, do we call it a drone ship? Are they going to give it propulsion? I mean, this barge just looks like it's something that's towed. But I'll be honest, I have other questions other than, like, are we going to call it a drone ship or something? Like, my big question is, are you going to cover it? Because NASA has a gigantic barge called Pegasus that they use to move SLS core stage parts, and before that, Space Shuttle external tanks, and before that, Saturn V first and second stages. Are they going to cover it? Pegasus is a barge. It is moved with a tugboat. Are they going to cover this thing? Where's the breakover device going? Like, it opens up a lot of questions about what SpaceX is doing with their ground support equipment for horizontal Starship transport. And I personally think it's super cool. There was tons of renders by a bunch of 3D artists out there, like on X, that are space nuts about, like, is this barge big enough to move it? How are they going to move it? And a bunch of renders with Super Heavy and Starship on this gigantic drone ship. But it is really cool. That's really neat. That's one step closer to Starship operations at the Cape. Showing that SpaceX is taking this pretty dang seriously. There's a shot of Pegasus right there. Pegasus is just a barge that gets towed by a tug, but it is covered, and you can conveniently notice that it's SLS core stage sized.
Yeah, you may remember from previous versions of the NSF intro, the Pegasus barge sort of pooping out, and an SLS was in the intro for a while.
Mhm.
Now it's SLS getting pooped out of the VAB, but yeah.
What, you mean when you updated the intro 2 years ago?
Sawyer.
Whoa!
Sawyer.
Don't
Dang,
blame me,
man.
blame Peter.
You're not wrong, but like, come on, dude. You got me back like 3 times over already, bro. I thought we were friends.
I don't know, but I'm pretty hot in here, I have no chill.
Flame trench, warm, heat, energy. Just saying. I mean, it makes sense. Either way,
Wow.
super cool. A lot of people are wondering. Okay, when I say a lot of people, I mean me. I'm wondering how they're going to move these things horizontally. I did come up with some cool ideas. If you guys,
I like cool ideas. Does one of the ideas involve firing up the engines on the Super Heavy to propel the barge? I'm in, dude. I'm in.
I mean, no, but that's a good. We should do that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, we can table that one for Kerbal later. Moldy
Yep.
Space, if you're listening.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, this tweet from Alex here
Alex,
is a pretty classic Alex tweet. Like, we all knew that they were going to be transporting these vehicles horizontally via barge to the port for quite some time now, based on the Starship environmental impact statement. And then and then this news sort of broke on Twitter, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!" It's like, we knew.
that was me. I did that. I'm not gonna lie. I did that exact thing.
It's cool to have further confirmation, right? And plans change so frequently that you never know what the current plan is versus what the plan that we last heard of was. But yeah, this is a thing we've known. Maybe you should pay closer attention to NSF if you didn't know this. Just saying. I'm sure a lot of our viewers did know this. Moldy Space, you are kerbling a Super Heavy booster on Marmac 308, using its engines to propel the barge. That is your current assignment in cursed Kerbal land.
So
Please post the results in the member Discord in the gaming channel.
Yeah.
okay, so now it's time for EJ's wild theories. All right, so how are you going to move these things? You're going to move them horizontally. So we know they're going to move them horizontally. All right, so how do you get this thing horizontal? They said they're going to use a breakover device. So for the people that don't know, a breakover device is a nice way of saying a gigantic hinge that, one part of the hinge that moves has the rocket attachment point, and the other part of the hinge that moves attaches to the ground. It's basically just a hinge that has that you mount the back of the rocket on, and then you have a crane holding the top of it, and you tip it over. It breaks it over horizontally.
Right. Breakover is just a fancy term for taking something from horizontal to vertical or vertical to horizontal. And a breakover fixture is just the thing that you use to do that.
Now,
So they're not actually breaking it.
yeah, exactly. It's another thing that's important to note that a breakover fixture is different than an erector. One is powered, the other one is unpowered. The breakover fixture is just a hinge. an erector, it does move a hinged rocket from horizontal to vertical, but it's hydraulically powered or electrically powered, or pick your form of energy that you like. You could pick your own form as a treat.
I choose nuclear.
I was just going to pick my nose, but that works too.
Please don't.
So
no,
nuclear
this is-
nose picking. All right, cool, sweet.
What just happened? But no, this is really interesting to think about. Like, how will they break these things over? I mean,
So-
thinking from the booster side,
Mhm.
like they have the little attach points for the stabilizers on the pad, like right sort of near the aft. I don't think they're on the current boosters strong enough to support a breakover, but maybe they reinforce the crap out of them, and that's like the fixture where the breakover thing goes into those stabilizer pin locations, maybe.
So Jack, actually, okay, this is GSE stuff. So somewhere Ryan's gonna come out like from behind a dune. Ryan Weber's gonna be like, eh?
They'll never do it that way.
Yeah. So all right, keep in mind this is just a theory. I'm probably wrong, but it is cool to think about. This this is the part where we humor my crazy delusions. All right, I'm on the show, right? We can do that here.
I'm here
okay?
for it. We're all here
All right,
for it.
So we know that Super Heavy has a transport stool, right? Obviously.
Yep.
So, Jack, my running theory here is that they're going to make a transport stool, obviously that can be moved via SPMT like it does now, but it'll have legs sticking out the side of the transport stool. So if the thing is vertical, it'll have legs sticking out the side. My running theory here is that you are going to make a transport stool that can go onto the breakover device, break over the entire vehicle with the stool horizontally, right? And then put it on the barge. Now, in terms of what's going to hold it from the front, Sawyer, you're familiar with the shuttle external tank. How did they move that thing around?
You tell me, I forget.
Okay,
Big
no
cradle?
problem. So the shuttle external tank, obviously you can't grab it from the bottom. There's the spray-on foam insulation, and we know that cracks. That's not great. We don't want that happening. The external tank was transported on a cart that basically looks like a gigantic chicken bone, right? And it was attached via the SRB the forward SRB attachment point on the external tank. So it's something that's on the intertank in the ET. Where the SRB's attaches are also where they pick up and where they transport it. Very similar to the catch pins on Super Heavy or the grid fins in the case of V3. And my running theory is that they'll be able to take the grid fins and turn the grid fins horizontally as well. So the booster is horizontal, the grid fins can turn horizontal, and then the breakover device with your transport stool that has legs out the side, you turn the whole thing over and you attach it. You basically have something attached to the grid fins, right? And boom, there you go. Then you can just SPMT that thing right onto the barge. And
Yeah,
here's
that sounds surprisingly straight. I mean, not straightforward, but like, yeah, that seems like how they'll do it.
If you have, you have the transport stool, it can stand horizontally or it can stand vertically. There you go. All you got to do is make a fixture on the other side that basically can pick up on the grid fin catch points or the inner tank. You could use the hot staging ring, or well, not the hot staging ring on the V3 boosters, but you get the idea. You could do something like that too.
Even just transporting it, like we think about how do they get a booster from the production site to on a barge horizontal. I don't think they put it horizontal at the production site and transport it horizontally down 4. I don't even think they can do that. So that means they would have to transport a booster or a ship vertically on SPMTs like we've seen them do to the port and then break it over there with a crane. So having the transport stool, like you're saying, EJ, be also the breakover fixture just makes perfect sense. And then on top of that, because it's also the transport stool in this theory, it just goes on the barge with the dang thing. That way, when you get to KSC, you don't need a whole separate, another fixture. You just take the whole assembly off the barge, use the transport thing to break it back vertical. The transport thing attaches to existing points like the stabilizer things at the bottom or the grid fins. This is big brain time, dude. This isn't crazy EJ theory. This is just makes sense.
I mean, even in terms of laying it down, right? You've got how many grid fins? Only 3. You got a flat side.
Yeah.
Don't remind me.
I think that's on purpose, Sawyer, for this exact reason, dude. That is part of what drove their design requirements for sticking to 3 grid fins.
I agree.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really? You think so?
Yeah,
I don't agree. No way.
why not? That in
That's
mass.
just-
I mean, turns out building rockets out of stainless is, a little bit.
I think it's more
depends
mass and
on your dry
complexity
mass.
and less because like we're going to design it this way because we're going to transport horizontal. Does it have a nice knock-on effect for transporting horizontal? Sure. I mean,
I don't think it was the driving requirement, Jack, but that is.
I don't
It's
think
not like,
it
oh, well, we need
wasn't
3 Griffins
considered.
because we got to transport this horizontal, right? Like that's definitely not it. But that definitely played into their design requirements.
Can we
to an
transport it
extent.
horizontal? Well, yeah, we only have 3 grid fins. One's not going to be in the way. Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense to me. I don't think anybody was like, delete the grid fin because these reasons also horizontal transport. But that's, what do I know?
They definitely did not think of it.
I mean, it's SpaceX. They build things and then immediately tear them down. Often it seems like they have not thought that far ahead.
So
Fair point.
Shall we say?
the interesting thing is that I saw a lot of fan renders of Starship on the barge, right?
You saw
And
fenders?
Yeah, I got plenty of fenders at my house. Anyway, they're for cars, not for starships. So I saw a lot of fan renders of Starship being transported on this barge, and every single one of them had Starship's thermal protection system facing up. Like, oh, well, we can't transport it because of the thermal protection system. We can't transport it, the thermal protection. We can't have that down. We can't put anything. I mean, and I was sat there and I kind of thought about it. I'm like, they're gonna transport the ship upside down? I don't think they're gonna transport the ship upside down. Starship has catch pins on it. You could transport it the exact same way. It has catch pins on it, and the pins are designed to hold up the whole ship. So you could use the pins as well. I mean, sorry, once again, I'll go back to the shuttle because this is the closest analog that we have here. I'm pretty sure they never transported the shuttle upside down. In fact, I'm pretty sure on the shuttle carrier aircraft.
Oh, dang it.
Instructions.
Yeah.
Jack, tell him.
Yep,
Yeah, I
go
get to
for
say it. I get to say it. On the mounting point on the SCA, there's a little, like, this very small text, right? That says, like, what does it say? Black side down or something?
Yeah.
Or place orbiter here. Black side down. The SCA is the 747 transporter, guys. They like
Shuttle
it's
carrier
instructions as a joke. Make sure you don't put the orbiter upside down on it. It's a joke.
It's one of the
Aerospace
best.
humor is weird.
It's one of the best pieces of aerospace humor. It's like that one, and then the speed check from the SR-71. Like, there's just certain things when you become an aerospace nerd. It's like somebody walks up to you and hands you a pamphlet with like 5 facts that you have to know. That's one of them.
Mighty, you're asking, do the pins handle the load in the other direction? Dude, if it's designed to hold Starship up, I'm pretty sure that area is strong enough to protect against deformation, right? Like, it's like the same thing with the external tank. Like, can the external tank be transported horizontally? There's no way they're not taking that into account, dude. If that's not the case, like, how would you transport it? This is just my crazy theory. I have no idea if they're going to do this. Like, I mean, SpaceX use what you have. So what does SpaceX have? They have transport stools. They have to make a breakover device, but SpaceX is a champion of the SPMT, so they're most likely going to use something like that. And you're going to take Starship and put it backwards on, like, upside down on the drone ship, like, okay.
Sorry,
I mean-
I completely stopped listening to you, EJ, and I'm just focusing
Blah
on
blah
Jake
blah blah
now.
blah blah.
It's Jake!
Blah blah blah.
It's
blah,
Jake!
Blah blah blah
Yay!
blah. Blah
Giggity
blah blah
Jake.
blah. Blah blah
Jakey the
blah blah
cat.
blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah blah blah.
I agree.
blah,
I
blah.
agree completely with you, EJ.
Blah,
Couldn't have
blah,
said it
blah.
better.
Blah 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 blah.
I don't like. I'm trying to make it end, but I can't. Every time you say blah blah blah, like it short circuits my brain, and I can't figure out the next thing to say.
Hey, that should be the follow-up to Doug's new book for anyone who
Blah
gets
blah blah
that.
blah.
Which, by the way, in case you don't know, Doug, a streamer, wrote a book, and every single word in the book is just Doug.
And Adrian loves it for some
It's-
reason.
Yes, Adrian actually bought physical copy.
It's like his
I don't know why
favorite
that's
thing.
funny.
It's for charity, but yes, he bought a physical copy of it.
I don't know why that's funny.
Adrian messaged the other day, and he was like, "Look, it's the McDonald's menu, but every word is Doug." And I'm like, "Okay, first off, how do you know it's the McDonald's menu if every word is Doug?" And he's like, "The formatting." I'm like, second off, I guess I'm just missing something. I'm just missing something. This must be how people feel when someone tells them about the live streams they watch called Texas Tank Watching, and they show them our streams. They're like, what? You watched this for 8 hours? What's
Yeah,
wrong
man.
with you?
Watch this live stream. They rolled out this test article. It was so good. It's the first test article of its kind. It's awesome. Here, take a look.
If we get lucky, they'll argue about bagels.
Lucky or unlucky, but yeah.
Man, when you put it like that, now I'm like really self-conscious about like my breakover fixture theories.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna retract into oblivion here.
You know what's fun? During the Static Fire stream earlier today, I became aware of how often I say as like an interstitial in my speech. It's like that time Kevin told me I said the word excellent a lot, and once you become aware of it,
dude,
especially while you're live on air,
it's my plight as a streamer.
It's bad.
Dude, no, it's not good. It's not great, Bob. It's like the one time chat called me out and they're like, can you not communicate in movie references for once? And I'm like,
what do I do?
Oh no. And I tried, and I made it like 45 minutes without doing that.
Dang.
Jake, not the
That's pretty
camera.
good.
Not
That's
the
pretty
camera.
good. That's pretty good for me.
Eat the camera, Jake. It's delicious.
No,
Chew the wires.
Don't go to sleep on my keyboard.
Don't do that. Why would you do that?
Go to sleep on my keyboard.
No, go to sleep on the keyboard, Jake. It's very comfy and warm.
Oh, the back channel is going to look ridiculous if that's the case.
Sawyer is just typing the letter B over and over and over again in the back channel. I'm not sure what's going on there.
And it's just the word fish over and over again.
Yeah, give me fish. I want fish.
Anyway, as you see, just the tiny little butt in the corner of the screen there.
Just the little orange fluff. Oh,
Orange cat good.
Orange cat good. You know what's also good?
And he's on the keyboard, so don't expect me to type anything in the back channel.
You know what's also good?
Don't do it.
The people who support what we do.
Okay.
EA,
all right, that was
thank you for the $20 super there. They say the NSF team is pure class. You make me smarter and make me smile every time I watch. Thanks all.
I don't know if class is what
this
isn't be described as, but
this isn't the class show. This is the one show a week that we do that has slightly a little bit less class and is more fun, goofy.
I think you mistook the L. The L should be an R. It's more crass than class, but yeah.
Sawyer is too on point today. No, you're not. You're exactly the right amount of on point. Wow, dude, what is? Jeez, buddy. Jim Yoder, thank you. I say a lot too. Jim Yoder, it's like what I do when I'm trying to figure out what the next super chat I'm supposed to read is. Jim Yoder, thank you for the super chat. They say North Carolina has much less developed coastline and few major population centers along their coast. I'm for it. More spaceports, more better. Daniel, grabbing a hat from the shop. They get the trucker hat? Which hat did they get? They got the hat. Is that the trucker hat? I don't think it's...
I love those hats. They're Richardson hats, guys.
My
I love
hat.
those hats. I will plug them till I'm blue in the face. We got Richardson hats here.
Hi, Jake.
So Richardson 112, which is a specific type of hat that trucker hat people care about. I'm not a trucker hat person, but clearly EJ is, and EJ cares about it.
That's truck driving, man. No, seriously.
It's on my head now. I'm wearing a hat.
Richardson hats are the best. They are.
Sawyer's wearing a tiny hat.
There we go.
God, I'm way too easily amused. Daniel, thank you for the support. They say, where do you think SpaceX will be at this time next year? Ship catch successful ship tanker refuel tests, Starship, Starlink missions.
All of the above.
Agree. Sawyer?
Yeah.
Let's go. We have a really exciting 2026 to look forward to. Once Block 3 comes online, it's going to be gangbusters.
Oh, my hat.
Did you really just flash on my hat on the screen while
No,
I was
he's been
showing
doing
off
it.
the hat?
He's been doing it. Yes. He also did. He did. Because I said a lot. Kevin's having fun. Kevin, don't you have a This Week in Spaceflight to be reviewing right now?
I left it to people who know better than me.
So everyone?
Yeah, pretty much.
Whoa. Damn.
JC Davis,
wasn't
thanks
me
for the
this time.
support. They say, I learned it from watching you, okay, Sawyer? And JC Davis, they say launch from the Wyoming coast.
Yes.
Adrian would love that.
Wyoming coast, best coast.
Crispy. Not crispy, but crispy, as in crispy chicken fingers, which, oh God, I'm hungry. With a $50 super. Thank you so much, Crispy. They say, as someone that lives pretty far inland, central Illinois, I would love if we started seeing Western launches over the continent. Bonus, if point-to-point comes to an area near me, I can dream. I do think, I know there's a lot of people that scoff about point-to-point. I am joking when I say Western equatorial launch corridor, but it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. Whether or not that time exists within our lifespans, open question. Why am I holding a ratchet? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, just imagine. It's a good thing it's not, if you're in Illinois, I don't know, say pick Chicago or something. It's not like it's a windy city, so there'd be no issues with launching there.
They're on
go
a
ahead.
mission from God, Sawyer, so it'll
You're
be
on a
all
mission
right.
from Gad. A Blues-o-matic.
What did the Blues Brothers come in from this?
Chicago? No?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's, where the whole movie takes place?
Yeah, I get that part, but I was just like, how did Chicago instantly go to Blues? Anyway.
Because EJ. Come on.
Chat, when I say Chicago, what do you think of?
John Hughes. Ferris Bueller.
Okay, good point.
Abe Froman, Sausage King of Chicago.
Abe Froman, the Sausage King
Cubs.
of Chicago.
Cubs, White Sox, the musical Chicago.
Sears Tower.
Properly named. There you go.
Not Philly cheesesteaks.
Who said that?
Yeah.
Who said that?
I don't know. I'm hungry.
Deep dish?
Yes,
Not deep
Chicago's
dish.
Philly cheesesteaks.
I think of.
Or Oreos? No.
Why Oreos?
Oreos were made in Chicago for like a really long time.
We're a Hydrox family, EJ.
Ew.
Good man.
Yeah. By the way, yes, Master Toymaker, 25 or 6-4 Chicago, the band.
Blues Brothers. See, Twitch chat got it. Just saying. Look at this camera.
Why are we showing
And, yes,
my
and
camera
fingers
at
right
the
there.
Rocket Ranch outpost?
You're right, duh, Bears.
Hey, look, it's my camera at the Rocket Ranch outpost.
Hey, look, I'm trying to move us on to talking about Starship.
Oh, we should probably talk about Starship because some really interesting news came out. In addition to all of that methane stuff. What's the question? Go ahead, EJ.
I was going to say, what's interesting with Starship, Jack? Please tell us.
Well, there's a new what is, we've gotten so many environmental assessments. What is this current, is it a tiered draft environmental assessment? It's not a preliminary or a programmatic environmental. There's a new environmental assessment out, and it talks about different launch inclinations out of Starbase. So the current environmental assessment covers basically these test flights, and SpaceX is now working with the FAA to do another addition to the environmental assessment, looking at additional trajectories, things like launching to a higher or lower inclination, not just straight out of Starbase. Things like bringing the Starship back in for a catch, and thus, what is needed was overflying land. It's a draft-tiered environmental assessment, a DTEA. But yeah, that came out this month, a couple days ago.
You're down to environmentally assess?
Oh, why did you...
Wood.
Never mind. Never mind.
No, go. No, do it. Do it. It's a flame trench.
What?
All right, so...
No.
We're going to talk about it?
No. Oh, we're going to talk... Are we talking about this thing?
Yeah.
Let's
we can talk about that. I thought you guys, All right, let's just move on.
Might as well.
Cool. So the draft tiered environmental assessment is basically going over Starship reentry trajectories for a ship catch. It approves certain types of trajectories, certain types of approaches. Now, it's interesting because in the past, we've seen approaches coming from what's called the ascending node. So that means an ascending node approach towards Boca Chica for reentry means you're coming from the southwest and going northeast. I mean, keep in mind, it's more or less, southwest and northeast, right? This one actually has approaches from the, proverbial, I'm trying to do this backwards so you guys know. So the northwest to the southeast, right? That's not something that we'd previously seen before. See how you have two different ascent corridors. The one that's going down, the lower
Right.
part of that V, would be the descending node descent corridor. The one that's going north for these ascent corridors would be a southerly approach towards Boca Chica. If you kind of took that V that goes like this, you made it an X that goes like that, you'd get the descent corridors where the thing's coming back down. There you go. There it is right there. Now, that's the first time we've seen something like this, as far as I can tell. These descent corridors basically go over the Baja California Peninsula, and they go over the northern parts of Mexico for a reentry coming from the northwest to Starbase. That's cool. I mean, that's the first time I'm seeing this, fellas. It may have been around before. I'm pretty sure Alex would have told me if. Oh, he's typing. Here we go.
I mean,
Good.
one way or the other, it shows that SpaceX is working toward regulatory approval for Starships coming back from entry to Starbase.
Catch is imminent at this point.
Right. That and, I said, again, Boca Chica is supposed to be R&D location, but also at a certain point, they have to operationalize it at least a little bit in order to achieve their cadence goals.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to add that the southern approach towards Boca Chica, to use airplane terms, right? Airplane-like operations. The southern approach flies over Monterrey, a very populated city in kind of central-ish Mexico. Monterrey is not a small place. That is that would be like flying over. I mean, I don't know. What would be an equivalent? Like flying over San Antonio, maybe.
Right.
It's a pretty big city. Probably not what you want to do on your first try.
No.
Over the People's Republic of York, yeah.
In the future, it's good to be looking toward the future. And this process will probably take some months. So it's good they're starting now so it doesn't delay ship catches once we finally get into Block 3 and they get a couple good Block 3 flights under their belts. And it is time to do a catch. That's when this should be wrapping up. And we'll certainly talk about it a whole bunch more as the weeks go on and as more information comes out and as the assessment comes out. There is a public comment period. I think it's on October 7th, and there's an online thing. You know how these assessments go after having seen several at this point. But yeah, that is really interesting. I want to thank the remainder of the people who are supporting us because we are about to wrap, and This Week in Spaceflight is about to premiere. If you want actual news about things that happened this week in Spaceflight, that's coming up. So stay tuned for like 3 more minutes, and then you'll have that. Jim Yoder, thanks for the support. Bideford, as always, thank you as well for the $25 super. Always love seeing your name pop up. Russell Snodgrass, what? With a $100 tip? How did I miss that? Straight to us, too. Russell Snodgrass went the extra mile and went to tips.nasaspaceflight.com. So every single cent of that goes straight to us. Although now I'm reading their message, and I'm terrified. They say, seems like a shuttle diaper on the vehicles for transport. Hard to fire the engines for propulsion with a diaper. What were we even talking about? Shuttle diaper?
I think that was for transporting it, but...
on the next Shuttle Sunday. I don't even know what the shuttle diaper is. How do
maximum
I not know?
absorbency garment, of course.
Is it the cone? The cone thing? Is that what they're talking about?
Oh, the tail cone?
They're calling that the diaper? But yeah, there's This Week in Spaceflight. It's coming up. You saw the thing. It's coming up. It's coming up. Thank you, Kevin. Mr. Fluffy 02. Shout out to Kristen and the merch store for working with me because my stupid large head. Trucker hat too small, but it's still awesome. Thank you, Mr. Fluffy. We do try and accommodate. Michael, thank you for the support. And Shazbert Toddbot, thank you for the support as well. Also, thank you to everybody. Stop doing that. Thank you to everybody. I'm trying to end the show on time. Why would you do that? Thank you to everybody who's not supporting us monetarily on this stream. Doesn't have to be a monetary thing. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, tell your friends about us. All of that really does matter. We see those metrics. It makes a difference in the YouTube algorithm. Speaking of making a difference, our launch directors and flight engineers are so important. The 2 higher levels of the membership program. Thank you so much to our launch directors and flight engineers. It's a huge amount of support monthly from y'all, and there's just no way to get around it. We can't do what we do without you, without all of our members, all of our viewers, everybody who comes out and watches our streams and supports what we do. It's such a treat. We're the best job in the world. I know I like to complain a lot and interrupt Sawyer a lot, but we really do have...
No, you don't.
We really do have the best job in the world. EJ, thanks for being on, my good duder.
Oh, hey, thanks for having me, guys. I know it's a privilege coming on here, and I appreciate your time and attention. I stream over on Twitch Monday through Friday, 5 days a week for 10 hours a day. I'm over there, twitch.tv/EJ_SA. Yeah, that blank screen. Anyway, yeah, thank you very much. It's always fun. This is always a good time. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. It's always good to have the standard crew on the trench. Sawyer, dude, I'm sorry for interrupting you so much. I got a bunch of Red Bull in me and just started rambling.
What are you talking about, Jack? I would never interrupt you while you're talking already. Thanks, Jack. No, it's good to be here. I love being on the trench, and as I called it the other day, we are the OG3 when it comes to the Flame Trench, and I kind of love being with all you guys. So, thank you.
The band back together. Another Blues Brothers reference.
I couldn't get EJ's title to come up, so that's why we got the black screen. But here's EJ's title, and EJ's from Twitch.
I thought you were playing a joke on me. I'm like, wow, I guess I said something he didn't like.
No,
also, we do a
jeez.
pre-show and post-show of the Flame Trench, and you may or may not be able to catch some or all of that on EJ's Twitch. So that's like a bootleg way you can get the pre-show or post-show. We'll see you next week. Love ya. Bye. Oh, I said love you again. Why did I do that?
Are you the type of person that says, like enjoy when someone says enjoy your food, you say you too, Jack?
Oh, man. It's like you can't decide whether or not to say goodbye or take care, so you say take bye, and then you just die inside.
And here we go. We have liftoff. Propulsion continues to be normal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Rolling up. Roger, Atlantis.
Water towers fly! Yes! Tango down to nominal.
Flight downside speed off. Bring in speed off. Off. It's orange!
Oh my god!
Decollage. Put that in the big bag, Eagle.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed. We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
The methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You read? We don't need any more of these.